I started doing it in the 3K freeze out. I was playing with Triton sickos, Hall of Famers. Uh, it was the toughest field I've played in ever that I was aware of. You know, I don't know, online there might have been tougher tables.
What was it? Was it the main event?
No, it was the 3K freeze out that I got 41st in. We could talk about that big punt too.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
The biggest spot of my life and how I had the nads to just fucking go with it. You know, with some thought behind it. It wasn't just a reckless, oh, we're gonna fucking jam it here, you know.
Yeah, of course. Okay, we're live now.
All right.
Chris Klein, let's fucking go. What's up, Chris?
Chris,
What's
what's
in
up,
the
man?
chat?
That's my buddy.
Today
He's
we have
local as well. Online
one
guy.
of the most out of line players. In this episode, we're diving into his transition from music, this is news to me, to the tables, the mental game behind poker, and what it really takes to stay consistent in a world full of distractions. Let's welcome Mr. Don Mann. What's up, Don?
What's going on, everybody? What's up, Carl?
We're gonna have fun with this one.
Yeah, I'm excited. Should be a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
So we talked yesterday, and you said you have a background in music, which was news to me. Let's talk a little bit about your come up in music and tell us where did poker, your intro into poker, what age, how did it happen?
All right, so we'll start with the music first. There's a music background in my family. My dad is a really good drummer. So I kind of got into it at a young age. You know, I was around his gigs and stuff when he would play at the local town bar and stuff. And on breaks, I would just hop on the drum set and play when I'm like 8, 9 years old, and people would throw me tips. And he would always joke that I was making more money than him that night. But so drumming was in my blood, like from a young age. It just kind of felt natural, like I could stay on beat and everything. So I always looked up to him and his drumming, and I got into bands in high school. Long story short, there wasn't like a good place for me to practice. We had to buy a lot of music, like studio time and whatnot, to go get practices in. I was living in Jersey. I grew up in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd be driving like 40 minutes towards the city to go get a studio and practice. And, you know, as like 15, 16-year-old kids, how often can you actually do that? You know, so I ended up transitioning into like more of like digital production. Like I had a drum pad, MPC, and I found out, oh, I don't need to like bother anyone in my house. I could just put my headphones on and just kind of get the bang in the pads and make music. So I kind of fell in love with that, and then got into hip hop. Well, I was already into hip hop, but got into hip hop production and sampling, like old school 90s style. Like they call it the golden era, you know?
It was. What was your dad music? Like what kind of music was he in before you transitioned to hip hop? What
Like
genre?
classic rock, like fusion rock,
Okay.
like all the classics, like
Mhm.
Zeppelin. He's like, you know, all the stuff with the Zeppelin, you
I'm a
know.
big fan of Zeppelin, by the way. I
Yes.
grew up in that era. Zeppelin, The Doors, all these
Yeah.
guys.
He was born in 66, so he graduated in 84. So that era, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, okay, you're drumming, you're going with that's the gigs. Where did poker come into the picture? Did your dad play poker?
He never played poker. Poker started getting like I started playing card games with friends, right? It was like AC Doocy, you know. Up north, we played dice and little silly games to gamble and stuff. Like in middle school, at lunch and shit, off the
Mm-hmm.
wall, throwing some dice, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I already kind of had that, like, you know, little gambly in me, and we played AC Doocy, and then my buddy showed me Texas Hold'em, and we played that in my basement all the time. My pops used to get so upset. I hear the fucking chips all night long because it was down in the basement.
You had a setup, you had
High
chips and a
school.
table and everything?
Not like a legit table, but it was one of those ones that you could unfold into like an octagon and put it on top
Yeah,
of a table, and it
tabletop.
was a
Yeah,
felt.
tabletop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was like cool. It felt really cool. Like um, we used to
Did
do weird things like shuffling races, see who could shuffle the cards, like just
faster?
weird stuff. Like really deep love for this game at an early age. So I
Were you
got into
good? Like when I played with friends,
no.
I felt like I was better than them. Like we played home games and I crushed the home game. Did
Yeah,
you
I
feel like
think
you
I
had an
was good in that field. Yes, like I
yeah?
did well. I started making money, and then next thing you know, I was playing in a local league every Thursday, and I got player of the month like 4 times in a year. And this is like my senior year in high school, and I'm like, yo, this I'm getting good at this game. I think I have a good feel of people and like tendencies, and I'm maybe not exactly these words, but I was noticing things because there wasn't as much as there is now on poker. The
This is
age,
all Jersey. This is all in
yes,
Jersey.
this is all still Jersey.
When did the move happen to Florida, and why Tampa?
So it was a mix of I I worked on Wall Street when I was 18. I
Oh, we
had a
got the
lot.
Wolf of Wall Street over here.
Yeah, interesting. It was through a girlfriend, and her
Uh huh.
mom worked there and got me in. But I had worked on Wall Street. We broke up. I lost my job, surprisingly, after we broke up, and I was just
Downswinging. You're
looking to
downswinging
start.
hard.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just like doing little side gigs to like get by, and I'm like, why am I even here anymore? Anymore? This is me at like 19. So I was doing the music, so I was like looking for schools, and I decided to try Full Sail in Orlando, and that's what got me to Florida. But also one of the driving forces was in Florida you could play poker at 18 at the casino. That was a huge thing because you couldn't do that up north. You have to be 21.
Uh huh.
So I'm 19 and I'm like, ooh, I can go to school and I could go play like a real poker tournament, like in a real casino. So, I made it out this way and yeah, went to
Nice.
school and
So you were playing Hard Rock?
yeah, my first Hard Rock tournament was when I was probably 20. I'm 35 now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when the poker room was by the food court. You know what I'm talking about? There was still a bad beat jackpot.
You played since then. I didn't see you like come on the scene till like the last couple years, but yeah.
That's because I was online. When I've been full time now for almost 6 years, but it's
Mhm.
mainly online, like tons of volume, millions of hands. Um, so I've never really chased much of the live scene. That's more of like the last 2 years, year and a half that I've actually been like grinding live and like putting in real volume. You know,
If somebody asks you right now, what would you choose? Where do you think you're better, online or live, and
I
why?
love online personally. I have just so much experience. I have some troubles adjusting live. I think
As far as what?
overall tendencies live are just way different. Like people just don't have stuff in spots, and if you're just coming from this online background, there's definitely an adjustment to the fields.
Hmm.
And live is very slow, right? And a lot of people don't want to admit this, but you're just not getting volume in live.
You're
Like
not.
the variance is so slow compared to online. Like I could play what people play in a year live, I can play on a Sunday, like no problem. And
Wow.
then go hang out with my friends later that night. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I used to grind GG schedule, the international, on a VPN. So I'd wake up at 7 in the morning, grind the European schedule into the American schedule of ACR and global and ignition and just play like 14, 16 hours. And if I wrote a list of the guarantees and my schedule, people would be like, what the hell am I doing at a 200
Chris
tendency?
Klein. You know who Chris is?
Yeah, that's my buddy. He's also an online grinder.
Okay.
Uh,
Shout out to Chris.
what's
Does the
up?
pace of live hard to adjust? That's a good question. As far as like patience, because you said like it's 10x volume online. When you move to live, it's like very slow. So does it get into kind of your kind of like a hindrance because you're expecting
Um,
to see way more hands? You're seeing
right,
like with some dealers maybe 10, 15 hands per down, like per 30
right,
minutes. So
right.
everything is slowed down like 10 times.
Yeah, I think like online the average is like 90 to 100 hands per hour. I could be off on this. It's been a while since I've actually cared about these numbers. And
It's
then
roughly
like
right.
live is like about half that. I've heard. Does that
Less
sound
than
about
half.
right? Like 40, 50 hands per hour? Per
At
hour.
best. At best.
Yeah, at
Yeah,
best,
at best. Um, See, people online are like way more theoretically sound. Of course, not in the low stakes, not in the micro stakes. In the mid stakes, they're way more studied. Some of the stuff I've noticed, I wanted to mention this. I played a tournament at Hard Rock last week. We were down to two tables, and the average stack was 18 big blinds. And the structure in that tournament is very solid. Like the average shouldn't be even close to 20 bigs. It should be like 30, 35 big blinds. People were so nitty. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. We played for an hour when we were down to the final table, nine-handed. For an hour, not one bust out, and short stacks like sub 10 big blinds were shoving only aces. Like, so you had to make a major adjustment because normally I'm calling like any open, somebody's shoving less sub to 10 big blinds. I'm calling any of my opens are calling that 10 big blind shove. But when you see only aces shoving, I'm like, what is going on? I mean, it was like nit central. I've never seen anything
and
like it.
yeah, I think a lot of that attributes to what we were just saying, right? Like live variance is slow, and like these people don't get in these spots often. So when they get in these spots, they are quote unquote, no offense, but like scared money. They're like very very tight, so they're not squeezing in spots. They're also not as studied as some online players. They don't know these squeeze spots and whatnot, to where they're passing up all these spots that are great, but it's because they're not getting in these spots as often, on average speaking.
I
Online,
mean,
you just see the big picture and you crank these plus EV spots out, and your graph is gonna go up. So
of
you're
course,
not worried about this big spot, like you
every
just want to make
episode,
the right decision over and
every
over.
episode in Inside the Mind of a Pro, all the pros, the European pros that play with for Winamax, they describe American players in one way: ABC players, and they're very tight. When a
Hmm.
Euro sits down, they're like, okay, this guy's capable. Now we have to, adjust. But when
Hmm.
it's, they'd be like, oh, this guy's American. Okay, like they describe Americans as super nitty, basically.
Right.
And I mean, but locally we're seeing it. It's
And
when the average stack in a solid structure tournament 30 minutes, which is not way slow, it's not 40 minutes or an hour, it's 30 minutes for us. It's pretty slow, but when you see the average stack when it's down to like three tables or two tables, when it's sub 20 bigs, that means people are not busting out. They're just waiting for aces and kings to shove, holding on. You can min cash a lot doing that, but you're not going to win tournaments. Me
no,
and you know this. Like in
yeah,
tournaments, you need to do the opposite. Like Duck Polk said it back in 2017, 2018, kind of like when the solvers were coming out and coming into the scene and telling you that you should be playing loot tournaments, you should be playing loose. And then I see the limps. Like some people have like limp only strategy. Like, bro, you're not Daniel Negreanu can do it because he balances that range.
right.
But when you're like some regs I see, and they think they can play, like they have the attitude at the table, sitting back, like they know what they're doing. They're limping under the gun every hand, and then raising 5x when they have a. It's like, bro, play your hand face up. Might as well play it face up. Limp, 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 and then 5, 6x when they have a hand. I mean, the whole.
But from to be fair, can you blame them? It's working in these fields, I guess,
You know
for
what?
the average opponent. You know, it's working, I guess, right? I don't know. I
I
mean, I
mean,
cannot. I will. You'll never see me limp unless very specific scenarios.
I mean, you
But
can
yeah,
limp here and
I'm not
there,
doing
but
it
like
anymore.
it shouldn't be like the basis of your strategy.
Right.
Yes, you're losing. I mean, they make up for it post flop. Like some of these guys are decent post flop. Like they have
Right.
their hand reading ability is decent, so they're making that mistake, but they're making up for it post flop. I get it. They get not too tricky. Like I always say it. I've said it so many times. At showdown, you're never gonna say, "Wow, that was a creative play." It's always
Right.
it's
Right. Right.
bet big. It's a big hand. Like
Yeah.
bet
Yeah.
like middle. Like they bet like third pot or half pot. It's like one pair hand. A second pair. They're getting value. They don't get thin value that much. They're always scared. If the board is scared, they're not going for the thin value. And when it's a big bet or like they're putting the whole stack, it's just the nuts. Like you see what the nuts is on that board, and they have it every time.
Hmm.
Like
Here's the
play.
thing with tournament poker. You need to deny equity. You got to be aggressive and you got to get thin value. And one more thing, you have got to win tournaments. You have got to get first place in these tournaments because that's where the ROI is. When I've done some coaching and I've had students online that
Mm-hmm,
have a 35% in the money,
mm-hmm.
and most people will be like, wow, that's so good. But I'm breaking down their stats and there's no wins. They're just min cashing, losing a flip, hitting me with a bad beat story. Oh, I had 8 bigs and this guy opened and I jam ace king and he called me with king 10 and it comes 10 high, man. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to play the whole tournament different. You have to be aggressive. You have to build these stacks. You have to abuse the bubble. You have to abuse the final table. You want to be the one leveraging your stack against these middle stacks so that you can win the tournament without showing down your cards as little as possible, denying equity. Showdown, letting people see showdown is so bad for the big picture of things.
A
Like,
100%, 100. I see it all the time. It'll be like a high pressure spot, and they don't want to seem like they're bluffing. They might have like a weird hand at showdown. They like bink the set on the turn. It's not like a clear hand, and they show it at the end just to show like, hey, I'm not getting out of line. I have a value. Like, okay, you're showing me you have value. Like, you're giving me so much information for me to abuse you later. Show
right,
nothing
there's that.
unless
And
unless you want to show a bluff and then exploit them later by going big. Like you went big with the bluff and showed it, and then you go big, use the same sizing or the same line with a value hand, you get paid. Like if you don't show bluffs every once in a while, or you don't let people think that you're capable of a bluff, you're so easy to play against and so exploitable, because we know you like, and they don't find the creative bluffs ever, like on paired boards. I always say it, they use the bluffs, the clear bluffs, the bricks.
right,
There's the clear flush draw or open-ended straight draw on the board. I was playing cash a couple days ago, clear bluff. It was I had queens, king jack flop, king jack x. It went check. I was out of position. I checked queens. He checked back. Turn is a jack. Um, I check. He bet. I call. River is a brick, like a 7. I check. He bet big. I call. He shows me ace 10, like the clear whiff,
right,
clear
right.
gut shot whiff. It's always the clear bluffs. But hey, we love it. Let them
Yeah, yeah,
keep playing like this, and we capitalize on it. Let's dive in. We spent what,
you
20
know, we
minutes, and we haven't even touched the questions we have. By the way, there's a couple questions from the chat. We got Chris Klein agrees with you on the. He said the average hands are 90 to 100 per hour. Merso is trolling you. He said, "Can you
oh, surprise.
stop talking out of your nose, Don? Annoying as fuck."
This fucking guy.
Chris said,
Marcel? Shut up.
Merso is always out of line. He said,
Always.
Chris said it can be fine if they are balancing there's no balance, Chris. If they're balancing their limping range, but rarely are they, in my opinion. 100%.
Right, right, right. And Chris is more online background, right? So he's coming from playing with people that may actually be balancing a 15 big blind cutoff limp, facing a player that might three bet them often in the small blind, you know, and now they're gonna be able to limp call or whatnot.
You know what? With
There are
50 big
spots. There's
blinds, you're
some good
gonna
spots.
do some limping in later. That's the only time you're gonna limp is like with a 15 or a 12 big blind stack, where losing two big blinds is like, you know, representing like 15% of your stack. But so limping makes sense, and you balance it with like aces and kings. You limp those hands, and you limp some speculative hands, but not many. But that's about it. Merso said, "Love you, Don."
Love you too, Merso. That's
Oh,
my dog at the end of the day, though. You
yeah,
know,
Merso is the
he's good
goat.
people. He's good people.
Okay, let's talk about being dialed in at the table. Talk to me about the pros and cons of being dialed in versus not being dialed in, and what's the difference between your A game and your C game, and how long can you stay dialed in before you get drained? When we say dialed in, I'm going to give you an example of being dialed in. That's at least for me. When I'm dialed in, when I'm in like that flow state, I'm watching everything and it's draining as fuck. I'm watching poker on TV and analyzing everything. I'm watching their bet sizing. I'm watching the board dynamic, what they're doing on certain runouts, um, their tells. I'm looking for tells. If I see somebody as a threat at the table, I'm studying them. If it's like a fish, there's no reason to look for tells because I don't need that big of an edge. I can just play ABC and beat them. Not
Right.
ABC. I can put them
Yeah,
through.
but I know what you're saying. You don't have to get
Yeah.
out of line or get too creative against them, or
No, there's no need. There's no need. But talk to me about you being dialed in and playing your A game and the difference between your A game and your C game.
so this is actually something that I think I noticed early in poker when I started studying, because I don't have this like math background, right? Like I think people know this. I'm pretty transparent as to who I am. I'm not like some nothing against those that, you know, but like poker has a lot of very smart people within the space. You get like
You're not
engineers,
nerdy about it. You're not
right?
nerdy.
Like engineers and like high level mathematicians that are very good, and they approach the game that way. And not to say I don't also study all this stuff, but you know, I was partying in high school, into the rock star life, skateboarding. So I first noticed in poker that there can be a massive, I was very competitive, there could be a massive edge in just the difference of the A and the C game. Being able to stay locked in for long periods of time, which was something for me, like came so natural in competition in general. Like I get very competitive and I want to win. Um, so I study the mental side of the game like right away, like mental performance. Like one of my Bibles that I read every year is literally here it is. Peak Poker Performance by Jonathan Little. And it talks all about that, what you just
Interesting.
asked for.
I never knew about this book.
Yeah, it's an amazing book with Dr. Trisha Gardner, who's mental performance coach.
I follow
Could
her. I
be titling that wrong. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I've worked with like Tommy Angelo personally. I really took that side of the game seriously. And not to mention in my early stages, I would like just get out of line too much, and it started as a reminder, stay focused, and it's becoming, you know, my what's the word for it.
Let's talk about stay focused. I didn't know it's your brand. How did it come about? When did it start?
Well, that's kind of how it started, right? Because of my look at the game, and it really was like my one of my first backers flew me out to Vegas. It really was a reminder to me, though. I know I keep getting off track a little bit, but
No,
it
that's
really
fine.
was a reminder to me to stay focused at the table. And people used to like needle me, like, stay focused in the chat. And I would just like to myself be like, thank you. Like you actually just relocked me in. And that's why I love this name. And it was also kind of trolly because it was stay focused 420. But Yeah, so I just saw the edge in the mental game, and I really started to pound that side as an edge that wasn't really being explored or taken seriously. And I just started building, and then it kind of naturally is starting to become its own brand. Like, I've been building a website. I have coaching available that I don't really like advertise yet because I have a big site that I'm working on, and actually a book even. But
What's the
this is
site
all stuff
called?
I've been working many years, so it's all building together, you know.
Plug the site. What is the site? Stay focused.
StayFocusPoker.com. Yeah, it's not up yet. It was up and live as it was
Mm-hmm.
being built, but now I have to renew the domain and get back on track with it. You know, it's hard because I am also grinding full time, and
Mm-hmm.
so like, I work on it. I put it aside. I got like 7 chapters of my book written in my phone and saved on my computer. So it's been a brand. It's something that it just kind of worked. You know, it's kind of depends who I
Of
am
the
as a
people you
person.
coached, can you name somebody that we know that like took their game, improved? Anyone we know?
Anyone we know, not really, because like I said, I wasn't really in the live scene too much. Um, it was more of like a online thing. I've helped out buddies, had small little private, but again, I haven't pushed it because I also haven't felt, I guess, confident enough to charge what I would need to beat my hourly in poker. So it just hasn't quite made sense, you know.
Gotcha. Um, my next question is, I can't judge you because the most time I've had with you at the table was at the league. Shout out to Andra, Mark, Steve Chitsis, Chrissy Hollybeck for the league. Anybody that wants to join the league, by the way, can contact me or one of the names I mentioned. It's one of the best values in Tampa. If you dream to play
Oh,
the main
great.
event, this is a little plug for
And
the
it's
league.
such a good time. Yeah, it's such a good time not
It's
to
a
go to.
friendly environment. They're
It's
not
so
making any
fun.
money off of it. The value is there. They buy you into the main event. It's your chance to play the main event for what, like $200 a week, basically. And you improve your. They used to say improve your game. You really can improve your game because it's getting tougher and tougher.
Oh yeah, especially this season. I was like, damn,
It's not
I
easy.
skipped 1 season and it got like twice as tough
You got
from
all the
last
crushers in
time
Tampa, basically.
I was
You, Stu the Donk. You got James McKinnon. Shout out to James. He's
Dave,
gonna be next on the pod,
Josh
by the
just
way.
won 3 freaking trophies at
Who?
TGT.
Who?
Josh,
Josh is
yeah.
crushing. Josh is
Oh,
gonna be
dude,
next too on the
he's a
pod.
killer too.
He's tough to. He's one of the ones that puts you in spots. You got Safe is coming up. I really like his game. He's definitely improved. He puts grinds hours, online, and he's improved live too. He's crushing. You got Beth. You got Juan Rodriguez.
Oh yeah,
Stu Chitzis will talk you into folding or calling too. He's like
Steve's a tricky one, man.
Steve is
Steve
street
is,
man.
if you underestimate Steve, he could
No, he will
mess
talk
you
you
up.
into the all the mental game. Not mental game. Mental. He's a mental Jedi. He will talk you into.
Yes,
He's what's his
absolutely.
name? The guy that won the main event, and they came up with the rule, the Jamie Gold rule.
Jamie Gold, yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I watched this episode. Like, the guy knew nothing about poker, but he won the main event by making people fold or call in certain spots.
Mm-hmm.
He was street to who are we forgetting? Ray Mancini, the Crusher.
Yeah,
Ray.
he's great too. Yeah,
Uh,
there's a lot of great players.
oh, Clive Gavin, the insurance king,
Wanker.
the wanker. He will buy you drinks and abuse you. Talk shit
Yeah,
too, and
yeah, he will. That's all good fun though. He'll
of
talk shit
course,
after he busts you in a hand,
there's
which
no
is
malicious anything
right,
in that league.
exactly.
Everybody's
It's
super
all love.
nice.
Yeah.
So, talking about friendly, how about we flip the tables and talk about how unfriendly are you at the tables at times? Because the version of you in the league is friendly, talkative, and I try not to get into it in the league because this is my job. Like, I go there. Like Clive last time, he's like, "Oh, you want to drink?" It was like level 3. I said, "Clive, we're in the office right now. You wouldn't drink selling insurance."
Right.
So in the league, I'm the unfriendly guy at the table. I'm the one, not all the time, but like I can't mix, I can't talk, have a conversation, and play my A game because there's so much to keep track of. Some
Yeah,
people can do it. I've named people before.
Carl has selective hearing in the music that isn't playing in his headphone.
You
Yeah,
know
I'm
what?
on to you, Carl.
Last time at Hard Rock, there's one. I gotta mention this. Thank God we brought this up. There's one brush at Hard Rock. She's Spanish or something. She has a little accent. The woman screams in the microphone. It's like at the volume is at 10 decibels. You're playing a tournament. It's like playing chess. You need a little bit of focus. It's like I feel like I'm back in Afghanistan in the bazaar, those bazaars where they call out like they're selling produce and stuff. This is the
Yeah,
Hard
yeah,
Rock.
yeah.
Put
I
that
know.
volume down a little bit. Everybody else does it normal. She has to scream in the microphone. So I put the headphones with no music just to cut out that sound.
Did you ever have Lady Luck in the building during a tournament when they're announcing the slots into the poker room? You ever have that?
I hear that. It's not that loud. It's just that one lady that's so
Oh,
loud.
yeah, I understand. Yeah, so the one day I was playing, I don't know, they must have had it so loud, but it was like, oh,
You know what? And I asked the
Lady
manager,
Luck spins a three pair. Like, and I'm just like, nobody in this room cares about this.
I mean, you know what? Some of the players play outside, and I get the idea of the speakers being everywhere in the casino because if somebody's playing poker and they call their name, they want them to go collect the prize. But anyway, so how unfriendly are you at the tables when you're dialed in? By unfriendly, I mean the stare downs, the tanking, and how much do you care about being perceived unfriendly by your? Because some people are like, see, in poker, you can't be too nice. Same as in life. Like poker is cutthroat. It's war at the end.
No, it
Yeah, it
absolutely
can be
is.
social and you can drink and stuff, but at the end of the day, if you're too nice, they're gonna eat you alive, basically. Especially if there's pressure. If you're playing like a 1-2 game on a Saturday and you have a job, fine, have fun. It's of course it's a fun social game. But in tournaments, it's cutthroat, especially if you have like the likes of like you have Stu the Donk at your table, you have Gabe Fuller, you have Clyde Malioka, you have these guys, you have Ken O'Donnell at your table, and you're like laughing and taking it easy. They will take your chips, and you're gonna walk away talking to yourself like, what the hell happened?
Yeah,
So especially when the whole table is chatty and you're the one being all serious, and you know what that kind of like it's hard when you're the only one serious at the table and everybody's having conversations about the weather and like the football game on Sunday, and you're the one like not saying anything. So where do you keep it? Where are you on that spectrum?
I think mainly I try to be the fun guy, and I think it mainly remains true across most fields. There are times that I need to lock in. I'm not really a sunglasses and like headphones guy, but there's definitely events I've been in where the vibe was just not right for me to be my fun, outgoing guy, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I was worried about a player might get reads on me because they're very good, like top player in the world or something, like Triton regs or something. So I just kind of lock in and get into that, what me and my friends make fun of, the new pro look, these new pros that get all too serious.
You
Because
know what?
overall, I think that's awful for the game, and I think it should be a fun environment, and it can be. But I'm also naturally kind of a social person, so that part comes natural and it's not like a nuisance to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
and I've put so many years into the game that um live, this kind of answers a question you asked too a little bit ago too. Live to me feels like a vacation. Like I'm making one tough decision and who knows, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
like really legit tough spot where I'm like literally uneasy about it. That doesn't happen often, and the spots are so slow. It's like how often, you know,
Mm-hmm.
compared to the amount of hands I've seen online, how often. But so anyway, going back to the actual question is, yeah, I try to be like super friendly. Even at WSOP, I had like a lot of these hardcore Europeans laughing and getting loosening up. calling them nerds at the table. Oh, lighten up, three betting a lot. Not getting. I I put out this image that I get out of line. I do get out of line in spots. I'm sure people
Oh, we're
can
gonna
get.
talk about this. You 100% get out of line, but I wanna cover a couple things about you. First of all, I tried to get reads. Never done it before, but last time I opened you three bet me twice. So I'm like, okay, I want to get
That's it.
reads on this guy. So you were playing a hand against somebody else, and you three bet them, and it went post flop. And I was trying to get reads on you to see if you're nervous, you're comfortable. I couldn't get anything. You have a good poker face, and that. I always say it. I think half the equation is knowing theory, knowing the game, and pulling the trigger, because like knowing and applying are two different things. Just like I always say it, like you could be a tennis coach, you know all the information, you know the right technique, you can teach it to somebody, but you're not a good tennis player yourself. Same in basketball. You have basketball coaches, they've never done anything in their career as a basketball player, but when they coach, they're like God. Some
Hmm.
people are just good coaches, and some people can apply, and they don't even know how to explain what they're doing. Kind of like Phil Ivey comes to mind.
Right.
When I saw the masterclass made by Phil Ivey and Daniel Negreanu, I'm like, what the hell is this? It was so basic because these guys know how to apply. They know how to pull the trigger. Their game is insane. I mean, they've crushed poker over ages. The game changed so much, and they kept crushing. But when
Hmm.
they want to explain their thought process, they suck at it. Like Daniel Negreanu masterclass, if you're a beginner, like just learning poker, and you watch it, maybe it will teach you something. If you're intermediate, it adds nothing to it has no value whatsoever.
Hmm.
So no tells on you. Definitely you get out of line. I think you get out of line a little bit too much in certain spots, just because these guys are not getting, like, when they three bet, they're not three betting light ever. We go back to how tight they're playing. So like they're three betting like queens plus. I mean, poker like tighter than it was in like 1999. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like tight poker. Three bets are like
Trust me,
non.
I know because I find these four bets and stuff and think that I'm gonna find something or I just get snapped and it's like aces or kings, ace king
Yeah,
suited,
they just have it.
just
They
like
just have it. That's it. They just have it every time.
I beg people, I'm like, please show me a bluff, like for the love of God, like please.
Chris said, I think since you already put in so much online volume and used to making multi decisions, it can be easier for an online player to talk more. Yeah, true. To talk more and have fun
Absolutely.
at the table too, only having to focus
At
on
my
one table.
most volume,
Agree.
I've been up to 12, 14 tables. So when I'm playing, uh, you know, 45 hands per hour, I'm quite bored actually.
And you
And
know what?
my brain is like I say, I tell them it's like a vacation when I go play live. Lately it hasn't because I've been running bad, but I still
That
have
is
fun.
detrimental to your game in a major way, because I think patience is more than half the equation in tournaments, because the money is level 15 and up. You're playing 14, 15 levels, you're not even in the money yet. And you can play, if you can play your A game in those levels, and then you get the level 15, level 16, where you're getting into the money, and now you're playing your C game, and you get to the final table, which is level 20, over level 20, and now you're playing your D game. That's going to hurt you a lot, because
Hmm.
you need to be patient at the end, not in the beginning. It's easy
Yeah,
to
I
be.
think bored was the wrong, but it's just slow. I don't think it necessarily like yes, I might take some more. Josh, what's up? We were just talking about you, dude.
Josh joins the chat, the GOAT, crushing TGT, the
But yeah,
TGT
it's not that
crusher right
I'm
now.
bored. Like I think other online grinders would understand. It's just much slower.
No,
Like
I get
that's
it.
why I invite more to the game, and there are information I could pull from these chats. Sometimes just being friend, like when I grinded a little more live cash, the goal was and it wasn't inauthentic friendly, you know. I'm still just being myself, but I'm like, if I'm friendly with these
I've never
people,
seen you fake an interaction. Like you're genuine.
right,
That's
right.
one thing about you. You're definitely genuine.
But
Some
I'm like, if
people,
I'm friendly with these people, they're gonna feel good about giving me their money too. So like, and that was for cash because, you know, sometimes people they lose the people and they never want to play a pot with them again because they're so unpleasant. You know,
I
like
see the
whereas they
fake.
have fun playing hands with me, you know.
I see the fake nice
Yeah,
is when somebody knows that there's a fish at the table and they win a big pot. All of a sudden, they're nice to them, and
yeah,
they're all friendly to the whole table. And then they lose a pot. They don't want to talk with anyone. This
right,
is the fake
right, correct.
friendly. And you see, like you can tell who's fake and who's not. Like we read people, we read body language all day, so you can spot fake a mile away.
Yep.
Talking about fake and genuine, how much do you rely on live reads? Because with your online background, you're looking at a screen, you can't see somebody's body language or your energy. So, how much you rely on live reads versus game theory
I
and
think
spot?
one of the first things that drew me in
Mm-hmm.
to poker too and got me playing more online, like because it was more live that I started because I was doing that league that was in another town when I was in high school. But I always had I was a good read of people in general. Like
Mm-hmm.
my gut has always steered me right with people, and for the most part, you know. Um, and I think I have a natural kind of feel, and I have studied different like microcosms and things like that, and like human nature and things like that that all come into play when you're trying to make live reads. But I wouldn't say I put a ton on them. Like it's just that's just like a little icing on the cake of an already like building, like they might have bluffs here, or you know, now let's see how they're acting. You know, I'm always looking and I'm not going to stare you down. You know, I'm more of a let me catch you while you're peeling your cards when you don't know I'm looking at you to look for a tell. I think
Mm-hmm.
people peeling their cards, that's a there was a spot in WSOP where um I had called out aces of two people at the table after the hand was over and was correct, and they were both absolutely shocked. And it was big on how they peeled their cards. A lot of people don't think of this stuff.
Wait, you called out their hand after the fact, after the hand was
After the
over?
fact, yes. And both hands were showed, and they were both like shocked because it was all within like 20 hands. I was just like, I forget exactly what I said, but I was like, oh, there's that ace's face again. And
That's the best thing when I'm watching like Triton or something on TV. I try to guess the hand and I try to narrow it down to like two or three hands. That's hand reading ability.
that's good practice too.
That's something. It's almost like when it's an innate ability, like you said, reading people. It came natural to you. Some people don't have it, or some people have issues with eye contact, for example. They're too timid or they don't want to look mean. Uh, yeah, and I think like looking at the person in a big spot when it's like very close, when it's like a coin flip in your head, getting that little tell. Sometimes you're wrong. You're gonna be wrong a lot, and sometimes you're right. You pick up something like. Is there something specific you look for somewhere in the body? Like I gave example last time of Martin Cabral, a pulse. Okay. He looks at people's feet. He goes like this under
Finger
the table. And
twitches,
the feet tell a lot. Like if they're
feet.
bouncing, if they sometimes it's a jerk reaction when a card comes and they try to bluff. They pull their feet back, and I can see it sometimes from the side of my eye. They pull their feet back, like oh fuck, what did I do? If they pull the trigger on the river, the lip for me, like lower lip, if it's tense, sometimes you don't see it. It disappears if somebody's nervous. Like when you're telling a lie when we're young, what do? You purse your lips or you hide your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The overall energy too, how the shoulders are they relaxed or they tense? The pulse is 100% the thing, but it's not 100% because some
But the
people.
key thing with all of that is you have to have some history, right? You have to see that they've showed down value in this spot, and that's how they were acting. Because
Yeah, you got to have
it,
a
all
baseline.
this can trigger the same response:
You got to have
extreme
a
value,
baseline.
extreme bluff.
100%.
It could trigger this stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
you
why
can't put
when
a
they
ton
do a
of.
lie
There's
detector
some good
test.
stuff though. Like I think a good one is that I don't think people realize is like say on like a super wet turn, like uh Jack 8 deuce 4, and it's like spade spade heart heart. So you got like double straight draw, double flush draw, and I put in a big bet, and they're unhappy about it. They put in the call. Now, when they call and the dealer's about to put the river, they go like this. I don't know if people can see my eyes, but they go. And it's like they want to like summon this card and they're like praying for this
My
card. And
God,
people don't even realize they
I
do
look
this,
for the
man.
same thing, especially
I
when the
see a
turn is
brick and
raised.
I'll just bet like a quarter on the river, and I know like I'll just like put out a little block or something, and I know they're about to fold to like test my theory.
When you get raised and there's a clear draw on the board, so you're getting raised. Basically, they're telling you they have two pair plus, so they're telling you they have a made hand. But when they look at the river and you can see in their eyes they're expecting a certain card, you know they're on a draw. You know it's not a made hand because they're hoping for that card to come. So if it's a flush draw, they're hoping for the flush to come. If it's an open-ended straight draw, and you see it in their eyes, it's like they're expecting. I don't know how to describe it, but you can tell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Compared to if it's a made
It's almost
hand,
like you could see their thoughts, like
yes,
when they're doing these reactions.
yes. Compared to if it's a made hand, the river card it's not relevant to their hand because if they have a set, they're already made. So they just
Hmm.
want to, not a dangerous card on the river, and they continue value betting. Compared
Right.
to when they have a draw, you can see it on there. So yeah, the eyes are definitely a big
Yeah.
tell. And
There's little things that are pretty solid, like you get the person that's been hanging out the whole day, talking, and all of a sudden they look at their cards and they're like sitting up in their chair, seeing how much chips they have all of a sudden, counting their stack, getting serious all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, that's a strong one, huh? you know?
all of a sudden they're interested.
Yeah, yeah. And they're not talking anymore. They're
And they cut the story in
starting
half.
to care about things that they haven't cared about.
You know what? It happened in the cash game a couple days ago. The guy was telling a story, and I asked him a question. He doesn't even respond. He had jacks. He goes all in. Like he cut the story
You
halfway.
just
I
start
asked him.
panicking. Oh no, how do I play Jack?
Yeah, and he's the type. He's the type. He's been playing for years, and some people just are always scared of the run out. Like, aren't you numb to all this? Like, I'm
Oh,
numb to all the run outs and stuff. You're gonna see me like maybe tilt for 5 seconds, and then it's reset.
right. That's
Okay. Do
good.
you prefer an all serious table or loud and talkative? Like which table you think you abuse better?
I like fun, but like there is obnoxious, right? Like there
Martin
is a
Cabral
line.
obnoxious.
Yes, and I kind of like some of this stuff, and I do find it funny. I think the tanking is way out of line. Like I heard there was lots of tanking and stuff, and like there's
You
some
know what?
things that I can't get behind that are ethically bad. But
Ethically bad,
so
like
yeah,
what? Like angling?
like tanking and like how he gets up out of his chair to like intimidate people mid, like that type of stuff is just too far. You know what I mean? Things like that. But I think some of that fun can be like good for the game, creating a villain. Who's got people talking. I
It's
don't
good
hate.
when you're watching it. It's not good when you're at like being at Martin Cabral's table is torture.
Yes, and I could see that. But for me personally, I would just love that. Like I would love to just chirp back and like, it was
The
like
thing is, you
I hate
cannot
to
talk
even
the
say
guy.
his
You cannot
name.
talk
I
him.
hate to say his name. I'm not even gonna say his name. Everyone will know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The piece of shit in the poker world that's winning everything and robbing people, and he uses this talking at the
He
table.
does.
And the first time I sat with him at a poker table, I was so locked in. Everything he chirped at me, I had something right back. Like I was sharp. Like, you want to play this game? I'll play this game with you. And he had ended up getting so frustrated that he had put in his headphones and like started saying, I can't hear what you're saying to me anymore. And then proceeded
Wow.
to punt like 700K in the day two of the 600 in Miami. So I
Wow.
got
You
to
made
him.
this
That's the
guy.
type. That's how I'm gonna be at the table. You know, if that's the type of person you are.
He's a street for sure. We can mention his name. We're not gonna put
All
gloves. You're
right.
talking about
Maurice
Maurice.
Hawkins. He
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
enough
for sure.
publicity.
Yeah,
I hate
Chris.
that guy.
Chris guessed it right away. Yeah, he's definitely street, and he can talk people and make people uncomfortable at the table. That's one of his. Some people use it to their advantage. Every time he sat with me at the table, he had respect and never like got out of line. He would talk shit at the end of the hand, but it won't phase me. But I definitely see it. It's intimidating for sure. He's got an intimidating presence a little bit at the table, and he use it to his advantage. Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. That's the beauty of poker. There's so many ways, so many attributes you can use, or arsenal you can use, things in your arsenal to win. You can use somewhat street talk. You can stare people down. And some people don't use any of that. They don't use
Mhm.
anything outside of the game itself. I'm like that. I'm not going to use anything outside of the game to win at poker. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have an edge over most people just by playing the game and outplaying them. And I get in their head by beating them basically. At first, like it might take me like few hours, but you get in their head that way by beating them in certain spots and making thin value bets when they don't expect it, making bluffs. I'm not going to show my bluffs ever, but like I get out of line in some spots, way out of line. Talking about that, I have actually a good hand set up that was really, it didn't make much sense. It's our boy Nick Palma. He started a new blog, by the way. I watched it last night. It's pretty interesting. But he plays a hand in the main event in Europe, WSOP. I'll set it up a little bit. We'll watch it. And it was an interesting hand. The showdown is questionable, but let's continue with the questions. We have two mystery hands set up.
Oh, cool, cool.
Yeah. Um,
Try not to punt.
do you ever try to intimidate players? We're still talking about intimidation. Intimidate players into not bluffing you. Like if you feel that somebody's getting out of line
Please,
against you. Like
please
some people,
bluff me.
huh?
Please bluff me. I'm begging you. Please show me a bluff too. This is to everybody in Tampa. Please fucking bluff me and show it. I'll
So
be
how
so happy. I'll come over and shake your hand and give you a hug.
so how you fight back? Like if you see somebody getting out of a line, and especially if they bluff, and like the worst is when they want to rub it in your face, they throw the cards in like you're sitting across from them, or like the dealer is here and they're sitting in like seat one. They throw the cards in front of you. Like, what are you trying to do? Why are you throwing the cards at me? Okay, you showed it. You
I'll
bluffed.
laugh at that stuff. Yeah.
I'll applaud. You get
Personally, I
applause.
understand it is a little out of line, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good, you know. Like,
Passive aggressive at its best. They're throwing the.
yeah, yeah. No, right, right, right.
It's the physical thing that they do. Like, hey, like, look what I've done. Ego in poker is just there's
Yeah,
so much ego, and yeah,
for sure.
ego, pride, all these things, and all these things should be put aside, because if you play like that, you're gonna get crushed. Like you
Mhm.
need this game is so humbling. You can never be too egotistical or think you're. If you walk into a game and think you're too good or you should win, all these things will destroy you. This
Yeah, at the
game
end
will
of the day,
destroy you.
this battle at the table is like with yourself, really, right? Like you're playing a
100%.
strategy and you're adjusting to these players, and you have no control of what these players are doing. So the only thing you have control of is how you're taking in this information and how you're staying locked in and playing your best game and making the correct adjustments, right?
This
So
is
it really
gold.
doesn't matter who's at your table. If you're serious and you're competitive, you're gonna do what you got to do to put yourself in the best spot to win.
This is gold, what you said, right? It's literally battle you against you, and especially in
And
tournaments.
that's in life. Like poker is a microcosm of life, in my opinion, and that's why I've fallen in love with this game, because I think this game has taught me things about life that I may not have learned otherwise. I
100%.
didn't have like a discipline. I still don't. A disciplined financial background, but I had to learn like bankroll management and like how serious that
You,
is. Like
if you
coming
don't
up,
learn it, you're gonna get punished in
I
every
mean,
aspect.
the best players in the world, if they're not practicing, I mean, it literally happens all the time. Like people
Hmm.
get put out of this game because they're just not taking the bankroll seriously, or they want to hit the pits, or they want to get out of line Friday, Saturday night, then go to day two on Sunday, and it's all of it. Poker is just about compiling plus EV decisions on and off the table, you know, and it all adds up to
You said it best.
long-term results.
You said it best. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He messaged me, and he mentioned Becker. I haven't talked to that. Shout out to Jared Gray. He messaged me. He's like, "How is Becker crushing? Like, what is he doing different?" I said, "I said in poker tournaments, you got to bring your best self every time to the table. Even if you're playing like a nightly 120, you got to bring your best self. Nothing should be bothering you outside. You can't fight with your girlfriend and go play. You can't have anything like weighing down on you and sit down and expect good results. You're bringing your best self. You got to be focused, dialed in, clear head. Uh, everything, like, I don't know how to describe it. Everything has to be lined up. The times I show up like this, I expect to win and I win. The times when I show up and I have like a fucking battle in my mind, mid tournament, I just self destruct. And
Mhm.
it's insane how it works. The months where I crush and my graph is like a straight climb up, is the times when everything is lined up at home, financially, socially, like everything has to be. So yeah.
I could pull up my online graph and
Mhm.
literally show you the biggest downswings and tell you what crazy thing I was going through in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a divorce. Boom. There's my one of my biggest downswings on the site I
Yeah.
crushed forever was.
Yeah.
Boom. It
It tell
happened.
it
So it
translates
all,
right
yeah,
away.
it really does. I
Yeah.
have lots of samples in this stuff, and yeah.
100%. Chris said, I can see a player like Maurice intimidating Rex, but versus an experienced study player that knows the spots and what to do, I don't see how effective he. You'll be surprised, Chris.
He's
It's not
so
about being studied. It's you got to have a good. You gotta no. You gotta be street a little bit like him, and either like
he
not.
has a point though. He does have a point, and there's a
Yeah.
reason why Maurice has 0 bracelets. Because
Zero
he's
one.
not gonna beat these well-studied players that aren't falling for his shit. You know what I mean? This is why he crushes the circuits. Nothing to take away from. There's some seriously amazing players on the circuit. Um,
Yeah.
and
What he's
honestly, I
doing.
haven't been on the circuit very often, but like, yeah, like a well-studied player that has it together is not intimidated by Maurice Hawkins' theory side of his game. He definitely is making big mistakes.
My next question, we kind of covered a little bit. How important is patience in your opinion, especially in tournaments?
Yeah, it's very important, right? You have to be patient. You can't just self-destruct. You're going to be losing so much dollar EV long term. Uh, I think like I've said, staying focused and taking it, bringing your A game as often as you can, and finding ways to recognize when you're in your A game and what's attributed to it are like arguably almost half of beating this game, in my opinion.
Okay, talking about your A game and patience and the mental game, is there any exercise that you do, whether it's yoga, coffee, a supplement you take, anything to bring that flow state, that best dawn version to the table? Is there any exercise or routine?
I've been falling off my routines a little bit lately. I'm not gonna lie. I'm an honest
But
person.
what is the
But
best
when
routine that
I'm
you?
crushing, when I was crushing online,
Mhm.
I had a pretty good routine where I'd wake up, smoothie, review a couple hands that I had marked from the night before, um, pull out the solver and start running some sims just to get my brain working.
Mhm.
Uh, I smoke cigarettes, so coffee and a couple smokes, and then I just go and lock in and start opening a lot of tables. And that
Okay,
was a
that's
good
a good.
routine for me. And a big thing I think too is writing down hands in a session and not holding on to the emotion of that hand, whether you made a bad mistake or a great play, whatever it is, just write it down and use it the time after your session to work on this. Just knowing that you wrote it down and you'll look at it later takes off so much. You're just like, it's whatever, it's past. Next hand, this is where I am. I got 18 big blinds, there's 40 left, 12 are paid. Like just get back and look at the hand later. So I did that a lot. I would write down hands and do a small review session post sesh if it wasn't too long of a session.
Um, who do you review? Do you review hands? Do you have any backup? Not a backup, like a support team. Anybody you discuss hands with? Somebody you can mention?
Yeah, I have. I mean, yeah, I talk with like people like Aaron and Juan. We run hand history sometimes.
Shout out
I have
to
a
the
lot of
wanker.
people online.
Shout
Yeah,
out to the wanker Aaron. He's flying, or else he was gonna be on screen
yeah,
with
safe
us. Shout out
travels, bro.
to Juan too. Juan has been taking his game to the next level. I really like what
Yeah,
he's
he's
been
been
doing.
crushing. Juan's
Yeah,
a great player. I've always looked up to both of them. Like when I wasn't on the live scene and wanted to get on the live scene, I just knew they were great people
they
within the
just
live
go for they
scene.
just go for it. They
Yeah.
have no fear. They go for it.
Mhm.
Jennifer Frankenstein said, "Great to see Don, such a great guy at the table." You know Jennifer, right?
And congrats. Of course I do.
Shout out
He
to the
just took
goat.
down the ladies event in Ireland
She has
and
been crushing.
he's been crushing. Hell yeah.
They have her photo, a panoramic
Yeah.
photo that
That looks
she
so
like.
fun.
Yeah, she made the whole show over there.
Yeah. That's
She made
great.
she won the ladies, and I don't know how many final tables. Every day I see her post final
I
tables.
know. She's crushing, man.
And you know
She's a
what?
great player.
She messaged me before she went out. She's like, "I'm afraid of a downswing coming." I'm like, "Where is this? We're thinking negative here. You're gonna do
Yeah,
great."
what?
She went and crushed.
Yeah, good for her. I love to see it. She's a good
She's
person. Her
hungry.
husband.
You know, if you're hungry to win and you just fire the trigger, like she's putting herself out there. Like poker is about execution. You got to go out there and play. You can't
Yeah,
win sitting at home. You got to go out and play tournaments. And tournaments are can be intimidating when you go 20 25 buy-ins without even getting close to the cash, getting crushed in early levels, like aces getting cracked, kings, flopping sets and losing. It fucks with your mind. You start asking questions. Your self-confidence go down. You're not bringing your A game because you expect to lose, and it actually happens. So poker is definitely testy.
it is. It's super testy, and I love it for it. Like I'm going through a crazy downswing live for like 8 9 months, and I'm still saying this. Like I absolutely love it, and I've
Most
been
people quit. Most
through
people
shit.
quit in that stretch. You're a veteran now. You've been through the ups
Yeah,
and downs, and you understand that downswings don't last forever.
exactly.
Most people hit that downswing stretch for like 2 3 months, and if you're relying on it to pay bills, I can see how somebody can quit. But most people quit there, and that they just look for something else, and they just give up on poker. They play here and there, but it won't be like the main money earner.
Right.
My next question is, why do you think some recreational players hate playing shorthanded? I see it in tournaments a lot. Like people complain. I can see their point a little bit. They complain like at Hard Rock, when they were eight-handed and it's a main event, for example, they start with four players, and recreationals hate it. I like shorthanded. Why do you think they hate shorthanded?
Um, I mean, I get it. They don't want to be put in spots constantly over and over, and they know enough that they're not going to be able to fold every big blind to a button cut off open over and over again. So they're gonna have to defend more, and that makes them uncomfortable. You know, they know they're gonna have to like defend like King Deuce and King Four and stuff that I'm just like defending always.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. That's exactly it. When it's shorthanded, you
Yeah,
gotta
they
widen
just
up
know
your
what's
range.
coming, and they see a player like me drooling, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, let's stay four-handed. You know, I'm fucking raising every hand. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing with heads up. That's why people suck at heads up because they wait for
I love
hands.
heads up.
You can't wait
Heads
for
up.
hand. You got to play anything.
When I worked on Wall Street, I made a solid amount of money straight out of high school, and I used to come home and play like 1K heads ups at
Wow.
like 19, and like uh I always think about, I wonder who I was playing 1K heads up with in 2010. Like, you know, it wasn't like recreational even then, like
No,
especially
1K.
then, because people weren't just hopping in 1K heads ups. So
No.
it's like I was probably grinding with like, not grinding, you know, I was very recreational at this point.
You probably played duck poke and you didn't even know it back then. Duck poke could
Exactly.
be a
That's the
rider.
stuff I'm saying. I'm like, I wonder like who I was playing.
Jen said, "Thanks for the shout out, boys. Downswings are real. Managing the fear is key for sure."
You gotta
Well
face
said.
that fear, you
Well
know?
said, Jen.
You're scared to bluff, it's because you don't bluff enough. You're uncomfortable in bluffing spots, it's because you're not bluffing enough. That's why I'm so comfortable in bluffing spots, because I just do it all too much, as we
We're
can
gonna
probably
talk
say.
about just that being uncomfortable, and it's coming up. It's coming up in a question. Chris said they don't like shorthanded because you play cutoff versus dealer versus blinds way more often. 100%. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right.
Exactly.
That's right. Um. Okay, so you nailed the why they hate shorthanded. Okay, this is what are things that a slightly losing player can do today to get the break even or even slightly winning with today's tools. And you know what? A lot of players we play against, like the players like we see at TGT or some of the regs at Hard Rock that play the dailies, they're losing players and they're like in denial. Because if you're not keeping track and you win like one tournament every like 4 months and think you're winning at tournaments or you're gonna make money at, you're delusional. Like if you
Johnny
don't have a
Cough. Yeah, go ahead.
delulu, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that's real. And like another one of my favorite books, The Laws of Human Nature. This is why poker's going nowhere, folks. Everybody gets so scared, but it's what you just said. These players, they're not tracking results. They're not doing the things that a professional tournament poker player is doing. They're getting caught up in this cycle, and they're not going to admit they have fun playing, and that's fine. That's fine. I wish I could be that, you know, at times at the poker table, where, because it is stressful to be a pro poker player, and sometimes you forget to have fun.
You
But
know,
human nature is going to keep this game around forever. I mean, COVID proved that. COVID was a dark time for the world, and everybody was online. It was the greatest time for online poker. I
mhm.
was in the woods, like crushing massive tournaments on my phone, and yeah, it was that. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It survived the Great Depression. It survived COVID. Human nature will have people coming back.
100%. What's up with Vegas? What's going on in Vegas? All the poker rooms are closing.
I have no idea. I have not been keeping up on much of Vegas. What's going on there? Do you know anything?
Somebody posted a video of how many poker rooms were there in like 2017 compared to now, and it's like half the amount. I forgot the number. He put the number of how many poker rooms were out there and compared to now because they're all closing. This is not good. I mean, poker keeps growing. Like the numbers at the WSOP are a tell every year. Like the main event keeps growing. Last year, what was it like? They broke the didn't they broke the record? Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, there's still good things, but there's also there's rooms open up everywhere. This is also just affecting Tampa, although I think side note, I think all of us in the local scene, rooms, players, we're all dropping the ball because like this scene, we're all a lot of great people, but like you see something like in 2021 when they ran that shit at the Hard Rock in the Ballroom, the circuit, and then
Yeah, the last
WPT.
one.
It smashed. That broke records.
Yeah, I remember Yee's
Like
picture.
why are these series fucking bricking? And I'm guilty. I wasn't there. I've been going through some very personal stuff at home.
Hmm.
Um, but I haven't been there either. But like, why is TGT bricking? Like, why are these people not showing up to these rake frees? Why is this? Why
Okay,
are these
let's talk
guarantees?
about this since you brought it up. Yeah, I remember Yee's picture when he pointed at the screen, and it was like in the last flight, it was, uh, don't quote me on the number, but it was over 1,000. It was like 1,100 in one flight, the opener, and they broke the record with the showing. And after that series, we keep saying the same thing. Hard Rock, just no more ballroom. They're not even trying. The guarantees, they always play it safe. They have multi-million-dollar budget, but they play it safe with the guarantees. And they're focusing on cash. They're cash king in that room, and they don't care about tournaments. The fact, the reason why TGT bricked is Hard Rock putting the tournaments on top of.
Yeah, I can't support Hard Rock personally anymore. I'm just over it. Like you might see me at four mains a year, and that's about it.
The rake is getting out of hand.
I'll just start going down south.
The last $300 buy-in we played, it was 20% rake. That was never a thing. A buy-in over 200 was never a dollar more than 18%, 17%, 18%. Now it's 20% on a 300. $60 was going out of the 300. So that eats up the price pool. And they're killing TGT. TGT bricked the first 3-4 guarantees. He freaked out a little bit, and I can see his point. I
I
mean,
understand where he
of
comes from,
course, it's
and
both.
I understand both sides. I really do. But like also like JD's trying so hard. He really is. And a lot of these rooms are like even Derby. Like they used to run. I think it was at one time it was two rake free tournaments a week. Like people get so caught up that it's not a guaranteed when in reality, if they just went to play and if they actually understood like what an ROI is and like what your expected ROI is in a tournament, you wouldn't care. Like smaller fields are better for reducing variance, and if you have an edge, your graph is going to go straight up. You're not going to see as much variance. I did it for many years on global smaller fields. I played like 100-person tournaments,
Couldn't agree
and
more.
chasing guarantees is not the way for longevity in this game. Yes, you should. It's
Guarantees
going to increase your ROI, but
is just a bait for recreational players.
exactly. So
That's
if we're here supporting all these tournaments, we wouldn't have to worry about the guarantees. The guarantees will naturally grow. And
but
then the
that's
whole scene will not, but people cannot swallow this, and it drives me crazy.
recreationals look at guarantee and buy-in, and that's what they go by. They don't look at rake, and like you said, they don't look at whether it's a small field or a big. That's why I always prefer $200 buy-ins and up, because that brings less than 100 player in a daily, and you have a much better chance at making final table and winning it.
You got
Compared,
better structure. It's more suited for like a realistic ROI,
yes,
and a profitable
you
spot.
realize your
A
ROI much
value. I hear
better.
people say value all the time, but if they actually broke down with the value of a 210K versus a 4x4 400 that's at 30 people even, like I'll play that 4x4 like over and over and over again. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Rather than hard rock. Like so it's frustrating at times, but because I really do feel like this scene could crush it. I mean, Sarasota proves it. They're not too far. If there was a
Sarasota.
reason for those players to come here, they would.
What happened at Sarasota last time? The first place was 100K. One of their
Yeah, it
flights,
smashed. You see what I'm saying?
one of their flights had 100 entries. I'm like, that's never happened before.
it drives me. It gives me chills because of how I felt when they brought that ballroom. It was like a dream came true to me. I'm like, I don't have to travel for the circuit anymore. I could just play it right here.
It's
And I
sad.
was so excited, and then it was gone.
It's sad that we live. The market is definitely here, but nobody's knowing how to capitalize on it. TGT, his drawback is the room, the location, and the room itself. I always say it needs a face. It needs to look modern, and it doesn't cost. I don't know the cost. Maybe 40, 50K. They need to drop. Maybe get a new location or make it look nice and modern. I don't know. Paint the whole thing.
Yeah,
The chips are nice, tables are nice, and they have the best team. They have the best
yeah.
team, the
It
best
feels good to
dealers,
play there too. Yeah,
the supervisors. Everybody's on point, balancing tables. The supervisors are on deck the whole time. Even at Hard Rock right now, the new crew is weak. They're making mistakes because they're not there. Last time we called, I don't know where the supervisor. I mean, it happens every once in a while, but their
right.
crew is better than Hard Rock right now. So
Yeah,
why not capitalize on it? They need to spend a little money, upgrade that room. People will show up. Have a nice room, like Sarasota room. I love,
yeah,
well lit up. It's not in a dungeon. You have windows. I hate when a poker room is like a dungeon. Derby is
yeah,
nice because it's open. You see the daylight outside. You don't want to be in poker. It's miserable to sit with seven other guys at the table for 8, 9 hours, 10 hours mentally. It's more miserable when it's dark and you're in a dungeon underneath. You don't know what time it is. You don't see the outside. And there's no way, like the old poker room, we used to open the back door and you're outside. You see the sun for 5 minutes, reset, go back in. Now, where you go, you either go on the floor and degen, or go in the parking lot and there's cars coming. Like the only way to see the sun is the parking lot. So there's no place. The
a little bit
dungeon.
different.
Anyway,
Park on the
let's go
roof,
back. Let's go
but I
back.
ain't going there anymore. Fuck that place. FTP. Shout out the Resistance. All right, go
And the resistance. I mean, we tried with this series. He can still save it with the main event. The main event has a ton of value, 1K per knockout, and the structure, 100K starting stack. One of the flights finished early, by the way, which is great. It finished at the 12K big blind. So even if you bag like 600K, six stacks, that's 50 bigs for day two.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
it's always nice when one of the flights end early.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's nice, yeah, because it also changes like the end game of the other flights. So it's an
Yes.
interesting thing when you know the blinds are rolling back and you're like two levels ahead of that. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, these
You're gonna
blinds
be
actually mean a little something different right now.
the bigger flights. They won't end to. They will go to like level 20. Not level 20. It'll be like the big blind. One of them was like, you can see the contrast between two flights. One flight ended with the big blind 30K, so you know a bunch of nits played that flight, and you have one flight with the same amount of players ended at the big blind 12K. So it's one flight going for it, and one flight that's a bunch of nits holding on to like
Right.
three and four bigs.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Which
sometimes
there's a time and place to be a nit. Don't get me wrong, but
and
like, yeah,
sometimes card distribution. Like sometimes all the short stacks keep doubling up, or the people don't know how to call all ins. Like they would open, and somebody would shove nine bigs, and they call them with like I see it all the time. They think they should call any two. It's not any two. It's like if you have Jack 10 suited, it's light, but you can call reluctantly. But you're going against a strong range. You can't call like with 5-6 suited when you open at nine big. So they do that and they start doubling up the short stacks. So the short stacks are shoving a strong range. Um, okay, where are the or actually have you tried to emulate someone's game, whether that someone is the people who play with or a crusher on TV? You know how sometimes you take little things. Do you do that in when you're playing live?
emulate. I don't know if that's the word. Look up to. There's players I look up to. There's
Yeah.
not like
Let's name a few.
many, no disrespect. Um, I'm not the type to like really like idolize people in general like that. So,
I like it.
but there are some people like, for example, both the Foxens. Like that was one of the few people I took a picture with at WSOP last year,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just so cool. Um, And I found out after the fact that Foxen had just busted like 100K high roller, and then was just so cool with me.
Hmm.
And I was just like, that's so cool, you know.
That is because we know the feeling after a bust out. You don't want to socialize.
Yes, right, right. Um, before all the drama coming when I was growing up, before all the drama behind Tom Dwan, I always looked up to him. He's very aggressive, taking spots. Like I used to watch Poker After Dark all the time, like clockwork on those Thursday nights. I think it was. I'd stay up
Hmm.
all night and go into school half asleep. We'd actually play heads up. Shout out my friend Kyle, rest in peace. He was one of my buddies in Jersey that actually really got me serious into poker. And we used to play heads up even just all night, and it would be IOU, you know. So we would eventually settle up, but we would play heads up matches and watch Poker After Dark for hours on end, you know. So, but yeah, Tom Dwan was one.
Tom Dwan went off the deep end a little bit after his.
Yeah, that's what, like, I don't
He's
follow.
fighting. He's fighting some demons.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some drugs involved and stuff, but I don't know. That's all speculation.
Playing poker for a living will drive you nuts. Sometimes you're gonna lose it at one point, and he's playing for millions of dollars. And
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't follow him, but that was just someone that had came to mind where I was like super impressed with their game.
he
Um,
was ahead of his time for sure.
yeah. So a couple of Europeans that like I spent 2 years on BBZ as I was backed, and with that stable, that it was a dying stable when I got in, but it was
BBZ is the goat.
yeah, yeah. So I worked with like all those guys like weekly for years. So like I love Ape Styles' game. From he's now with ACR, I guess I think still,
Hmm.
and he's a great guy. I like spent a lot of time um,
But are
working
you
on my
taking anything from their game? Like you said, Tom Dwan, the Foxons. Are you like emulating anything that they?
elements of
Okay,
just spots.
okay.
Garrett Adelstein, another one. I'm not huge on like high stakes cash scene, but he's an absolute monster, man.
Yeah, he
He
was dialed
finds
in.
like these like 2.5x value bets and shit.
Hmm.
2.5x pot. Like his exploits are out of this world.
Did
And
you
it's
see
on
his?
both ends, calls and folds and value bets, and he's incredible.
Yep. When he's dialed in, you can see it. It's impressive.
I think all of those players have one thing in common. They're kind of very like loose aggressive, and very comfortable in high pressure situations and fearless. And that's what I think I have pretty good strengths in, like that type of stuff. Like
I
some of
think,
my biggest spots I've been in my career so far, I went for it.
yeah. To make deep runs, you gotta go for it. And um, I think lag style in tournaments is the winning style.
It is, but it's so incredibly hard to be good at, right? Because
Of course.
there's such a thin line between just being a maniac and playing a really good lag style that nobody in the world wants to play against. Like,
Since you mentioned Maniac and the balance between lag and fancy play syndrome, that's the next question is what does it mean in poker to do the hard stuff? And how does it contrast with fancy play syndrome? So where do you draw the line between and let's talk about doing the hard stuff because I've seen you do a couple things here and there, but what are your thoughts on doing the hard stuff?
what do you mean in a hand, like taking a spot, or in
No,
life off the
in
poker
general,
table?
doing sometimes you always have two options. You take a node that's simple
Oh,
and
okay, like
easy.
a passive or aggressive
Yes.
route.
Like sometimes in spots where this hand it could go either way, and the EV is close, but you think it's more plus EV to like 3-bet instead of calling, but you take the simple route and just call. So that's not the hard stuff. Or
Right.
sometimes you
So the
just do the
hard
hard.
stuff. Like I've worked with H Styles like on 3-bet pots and like how much they're printing. So I know like these spots and what I'm thinking about in a hand. I'm coming to a conclusion that this is profitable and it's a good spot. And I may be wrong. Like there's plenty of times I'm wrong. Like nobody's just right all the time. It's a big guesstimation, right? We're just like putting all these factors and playing a hand that's telling a story, putting it all together, all the information that you could possibly pull out of the scenario, the person, the previous experiences with them, and trying to make the best decision, right? So like I've seen the numbers, I've seen the math, I've seen this stuff. I know these spots are profitable based on whatever I'm pulling from that information. Like if I know that you might have a 3-bet, I know that I can 4-bet this and it's going to print because you have enough of the 3-bets, for example. But yeah, just doing the hard stuff is where the money's made, man. It really is. Doing the hard stuff.
Embracing being uncomfortable. And some
Yeah,
people
and
just
like
want it. They
some
just
people
want to.
don't want to show down that stuff too, or they get embarrassed that they got caught, and like it's just a part of the game, and like it's fun, and like I kind of embrace it, like say I punted or something, but I could also just know deep down that like maybe no, it was a profitable spot. It's a cooler that he had bottom set there when that was the only set he could have because I've narrowed his range with a 3-bet and a check raise on the flop. You know what I mean? It was like that was the only set he could have, and then he had all this other stuff that just folds like every time, and I print. So that's fine. I'm gonna take that hard spot.
Okay. I got a mystery hand set up from the Nick Palma blog. Let's watch it here real quick.
Yeah, Chris, your post game needs to be solid for lag for sure. Yeah, you have to be really good at like ranging players and
Jen asked if you're playing the opener in Hollywood.
I am not.
TGT it is, huh?
Yeah, TGT. Yeah, I'm still kind of going through a little bit of personal stuff, but so I've been a little more focused online lately, and like yeah.
Let's watch the hand real quick. The hand is between Jimenez and Nick Palma. They're playing the main event in Europe. 365 left. I don't think they're in the money yet.
This is the one going right now. Shout out Elaine. I hope my boy is still deep in there.
Yeah, it's going on right now.
Well, is this a little mystery that we have upon us with Jimenez's cards intentionally blocked out behind the question marks, allowing us to speculate? And this is where you have your time to shine. Pocket Jack's here.
People under 3-bet
Nick Palma,
so
big
much.
blind. His response, a
Thinking out
flat.
loud.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so we can play this hand out
See, he
of
doesn't even 3-bet
Palma's
check.
shoes.
Say that again.
I said I was saying as he was flatting before I knew he was flat that people just under 3-bet the big blind. I think it's such a missed spot, and then he happened to flat jacks here, which I don't love, but he's a good player.
I mean, default versus the hijack is 3-bet. You can call every once in a while, but it's definitely not default play. But you can get tricky with jacks.
Yeah, I would say he could definitely 3-bet here as well from the big blind against the hijack. He calls, and look at this.
Yeah, Jacob 3 times over. Middle set for the American here. Slips it to Jimenez. Reaches out and touches a C-bet. Into the 11 comes 3,500.
Yeah, so range is going to be C-betting here, standard so far.
On a king high board, yeah, it's a pretty clear C-bet, yeah. Especially versus the blind. You'll be surprised how often I abuse these spots. King high, ace high board.
I think standard, we cannot really say much about Jimenez. It's just the hijack opening range. A lot of ace X kind of hands. He can have a king. He can have everything pretty much. And with middle set here, Nicky Palmer, and some hearts out there as well. I like this race.
Okay, now
It's just, I mean, sometimes you want to trap, but in general, if you have a good hand, just get money into the pot.
In general, he shouldn't have that many check raises on that board. So I like the check raise. It really like fucks with the original raiser's head, because like, where are you raising on a king jack 3? He has all the weird hands like king 3 suited, jack 3 suited. He shouldn't have any king 3 off, jack 3 off. He has like some weird hands there and some combo draws like queen 10 of heart, 9 10 of heart, 10 8 of heart, all the heart combo. He can take that line. But I don't like the heart draws check raising that board, because on a king high, you know, Jimenez has the range advantage for sure.
Yes,
and
for sure,
right
for
now we're kind of hoping that Jimenez has a hand like pocket aces, ace king, king queen.
Yeah, there's a lot of healthy interaction that he could be facing against that hijack
Exactly.
open, even with the ranges widened a bit by that late position.
Yeah, even a hand like ace queen, ace 10 is probably not necessarily folding.
Yeah.
To this
What's your thought process in that spot? Let's say you open and get check raised on that board. How are you continuing?
I'm already like, what the hell?
So
I
what
can
hands
check raise on these boards, yeah. Like it's just gonna be a whole lot of 2 pairs, like you said. But I'm already like, alarms are going off as like, this is like not very traditional play.
And they're not that
And
deep.
that I have range advantage. So like these are the spots that I may get out of line, and someone like Palma would exploit the hell out of me by flatting jacks here when he flats the set. Because I'm just gonna have all the kings, and what I think I'm the only one with jacks in this spot as well. So I could be taking like a hand like ace 10 or something and clicking it back on this flop just based on that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be floating here a ton too.
you
Like,
just
I'm
hate
gonna be
clicking
floating
it back and
playing
getting
terms.
called. Like if you click it back and get called there, the pot is so bloated right now. You're in position, but you don't want to play for all of it. And we don't know Jimenez's hand yet. By the way, Jimenez has about 40 bigs and Palma has 50 bigs. But let's see how. Normally in these spots versus an amateur, I take a defensive line. I don't want to click back. Somebody like Justin Fawcett would get creative and like clicks it back with some bluffs. Like
it's an under, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's an under check raise spot. So it's like there are the red flags, and I'm not gonna just like get out of line here always, but there's gonna be scenarios where I will click it back as a bluff here, just because.
Okay.
I have
Where are
complete
the hands?
nut advantage.
Where are the hands you're clicking it back? You're clicking it back with hands that have some equity, right? You're not doing it with like zero.
Yes, and hands that improve on the turn can pick up equity on the turn. Hands with blockers, stuff.
Would you
like
do
that.
it with a hand like ace 5 of spade, for example? A 4 spade, any spade on the
Yeah,
turn?
you can. You could also just float that and play some turns. But yeah, like a hand like that with like double backdoor, you know, straight and flush draw. You know, that would be a good candidate.
Like 10-8 of spade, 9-10 of spade.
Yeah, probably getting a little out of line now. It's easy, especially for me, to find a lot of bluffs, but it's also an under bluffed spot, so we can't.
It is.
And it's hard to get the value. So you have to remember this when you're trying to find bluffs, that like, what are you doing with value with this? It's like literally only kings, jacks.
Are you talking in Palma's shoes or in Jimenez shoes?
In
Palma's shoes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, in Jimenez, when
Jimenez.
Palma does this to me. That's how.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna do this click, it's not gonna be that many bluffs because I don't have that much value either. So it's an under check raise spot. It's already a really interesting hand.
It is an under check raise
It's a
spot.
good pick.
On a king high board. Yeah, he shouldn't have that many check raises because he shouldn't have kings ever. He shouldn't have ace king. Like those hands are 3-betting. unless he like decided to get tricky, which in this spot he did. He shouldn't have jacks ever. He has like pocket threes. His value hands are like threes, king 3, jack 3. That's about it. And the combo draws that are like semi bluffs.
Right.
That's about it. He shouldn't have kings or jacks.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Raise.
Right.
So I like this end. And
What's happening now?
And maybe slow played aces.
You can get behind like some like versus an active hijack. You can definitely get behind like check raising like king queen and king 10 as well without heart.
Yeah, strong king X.
Depends how thin you want to get versus it's gonna depend on your opponent, right?
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. King queen, yeah, it can check raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we gone to floor 3? Yes, we have.
oh wow.
3 bets to 25.
And check raising king queen is the node that we're talking about is getting uncomfortable, taking the hard line.
Right.
Because the simple line is just check calling and keeping the pot small, and getting uncomfortable is basically check raising king queen.
Yeah, and like what's that doing? Like, yeah, you block like queen 10, but like king queen without a heart or something, you're gonna be getting value from all their flush draws, all their straight draws, all their paired plus draws. Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna have equity, but you can
get value from like
queens,
queens, pocket tens, ace queen might continue like to one street and give up. Ace 10 might continue. Some of these hands might fold too, like ace queen, ace 10. It's too ambitious to continue. But anyway, let's see.
1,000 from Jimenez.
And now the question for Palmer is, what does this 3-bet mean? Is he gonna do this with a hand like ace king?
Jimenez clicks it back.
Is this a flush draw? I mean, pocket jacks are so good. It doesn't really matter that much.
Two kings are the nightmare of court.
It looks like he's gonna play for all of it. That's what's happening.
Unclear whether or not Jimenez would approach it this way, but the board is damp enough that both players with a set would be looking to pile chips in now rather than complicate things on a later street more often than not, especially with the window opened by Palmer check raising on the flop.
Yeah, fair, but I mean, pocket jack still so good, and a hand like top set traditionally often trapping here as well. So I don't think he's gonna.
That is like
that's
the
a
card.
turn.
That's that card.
That is the card, man.
That is the card. Yep.
Now Palma went from on top of the world to like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean Jimenez has some threes. Like the only hand we're beating here is pocket threes, but we're bluff catching at this point because all of Jimenez's semi bluffs just got there.
Yeah.
All of them. The 9-10 of hearts, 9-10 off with one heart. I don't think he's opening 9-10 off from the hijack.
There's an argument with Palma. When he gets clicked here, it's just gonna be. I mean, like I said, I might have some bluffs so I might have a click fold, and I'm sure Jimenez does too. And Palma may know that, so that's why he flats. He wants to keep like the naked ace of heart. 10x or naked.
Yeah, here the correct play is the flat. Like if because you want to stack like pocket threes, you want to stack like king queen just in case like Jimenez has king queen. You don't want to lose your customer here. You just want to flat. A lot of amateurs would just like pile the chips in while they have most of the equity before a scare card comes on the turn. They take the simple route and just like pile in the chips. If Jimenez is bluffing, you lose him as a customer and you just win the chips in the pot right there. As professionals, like Nick knows this, he wants to go for max value. He doesn't want to win the chips just what's in the pot.
Now, in the fields we're playing, when this line is clicked and the stack of pots are already this deep, there is definitely some value, in my opinion, in just getting it in when but these are two professionals in the main event in Europe. It's a different thing. So like
at
I
TGT,
get why Palma flats.
At TGT, the chips are going in on the flop. They don't think that Jimenez might have a bluff line, and they're losing value by just piling in the chips. And when Jimenez doesn't have it, he's just gonna fold. And Jimenez can have pocket kings every once in a while, and we're gonna get stacked anyway. But like the times he has pocket threes or he has like a king queen or ace king, we're gonna stack him by just calling.
Right. But like for example, like the times that Jimenez does have like king 3 suited here or something, like he doesn't love it either, and Palma is no longer getting value. So like there's that other side of that coin that sometimes you have to get the people to put their chips in with these high equity combo draws, or like top pairs that are not going to want to call 2-3 streets like right away. Like especially me, like a player where people like just are not going to fold top pair, and I know there's a lot of cards that are going to kill action on turn or river. I might just get the chips in, you know.
That's where
That was my point. But this is a way different spot, and Palma needs to keep Jimenez's bluffs in, you know.
That's where hand reading ability and live reads come into play. Here in this spot, I would like stare down Jimenez just to know just to get a feel if he's strong or not. Like if he's getting out of line, I want to keep him in, I just call. If I know he's strong and he's not folding, I want to pile the chips in and get the max value. But this is where your hand reading ability and live reads come into play to see if Jimenez is strong or not, if he's getting out of line or not. But let's see what happens.
There, the queen of hearts. I mean, ace 10 of hearts is not out of range, is it?
No, it's not. And
Palma looks
Palma
visibly
does
just
not
not happy about that turn card, by the way.
You saw it?
Or yeah. To me, like that was just my read real quick. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, could be wrong.
like to see. So it could be one of those potential bluffs that he had. He's maybe regretting his decision to just call here now a little bit. He could have decided to just put more.
Pot is 61K now. Jimenez has pot behind. He has 58K, and Palma has 1.5 pot. So SPR is 1.5 for Palma, and Jimenez has exactly pot behind.
Money into the pot right on the flop.
So effectively, the SCP is 1-1.
Yeah.
Although I don't mind the call either, don't get me wrong. And Jimenez checks it back now.
Well, it's a comforting check back, I would think, for Palma, unless Jimenez is looking to trap. He is the shorter of the two stacks, sub 1 SPR now, ever so slightly.
For sure, yeah, that's interesting.
Completely irrelevant.
I
River,
avoid
of
these
course.
spots, and I'm 3-betting jacks. This is just like a spot I'm never gonna find myself.
You know what? Yeah, when you 3-bet, you define the ranges, and it's much easier to navigate post flop. If you want to get tricky,
huge,
and you know how to navigate post, you simplify things by 3-betting pre. Of course, things get more dicey when you just flat hands like that, because your hand is under repped. They don't know what to put you. Things get tricky post flop when you flat hands like that.
Yeah, and Palma tries to put his opponent on a couple of hands here now. He's trying to figure out what the range looks like. He decides to check again.
Palma just can't go for value.
They are not.
Sucks.
No, you can't thin value bet, because if Jimenez piles, I mean, yeah, it's not a spot to go for thin value, in my opinion.
So many value hands that he can extract from, and is hoping that Jimenez maybe has a bluff on the.
It's thin. It's weird. This is a weird hand. I like it. Sorry, I keep commenting.
On the flop that
no,
he
that's
tries to
fine.
bluff.
The only reason I keep interrupting the video, because the audio gets weird if the video is playing and we're talking.
Put again here on the river, that maybe a hand like pocket threes goes for it anyways.
Now Jimenez, in his shoes, he can go for a thin value bet with, like, if he has threes and he thinks Palma has like king jack, he can go for thin value. If he has a straight like ace 10 that got there, he can go that's not hearts. And of course, all his value hands can go for value also. Like, I'm talking like nuts, like royal.
Yeah, there's not gonna. I mean, these play, like Palma could have a check raise on the river too, so Jimenez does have to be careful going thin.
I mean, Jimenez,
he could still have value.
If you have like a really strong
because
hand,
if you're
like,
keeping the bluffs in, you're gonna want them to have to bluff.
if you have ace 10 of heart there, like if you have a royal, you don't want to bet too big. Like, you want to bet small just to make Palma cry call with his hands. Because like, what hands is Palma capable of calling the whole stack if Jimenez goes all in here? So you don't want to go too big with your value. Like if he has 9-10 of heart or any 10 high flush draw, like 10-8 of heart, nut flush. If he has like ace 5 of heart, ace 8 of heart, all these hands want to bet half pot. Not. I don't think. I don't think going all in is the optimal play here, but we'll see.
Yeah, but it could eat up later if you're going too thinly on
Reaching for
rivers.
chips.
I'm not fucking check.
Okay, he goes.
He's reaching for just about all of the chips.
He leaves
It's
one.
a pot-sized bet.
He leaves one big blind behind and goes basically for pot.
I mean, this is very peculiar. Could Ace 10 of Hearts be involved here still? I mean, I think never want to risk losing your man on the turn with a royal, and suddenly, of course,
It's definitely
polarize.
possible. It's definitely in there. So yeah, for the value side, it's these nut flushes, royal flushes. I want to say, what are the bluffs? Is the question?
Yeah, because that's what Palma's basically doing, is bluff catching with a set of jacks against this line.
If he's bluffing, like, what are his bluffs? I can't come up with any natural bluffs in this spot. Like, what bluffs
Yeah,
are
it's gonna be these like really thin.
like try to come up with one natural bluff that this guy has. I can't come up with one.
Well,
I don't know if
like I could have like maybe.
if you guys think of a natural bluff here, please leave it in the comments.
Yeah,
But
I don't see
I can't think of one.
a lot of like cuspy value out of Jimenez. Is he doing this with a
involve
set of
the ace
kings?
hearts.
Maybe like ace jack with the ace of heart, ace 3 with the ace of heart. I mean, these hands can,
Yeah,
these
it's gonna be some next level or like
mind you, we later know how much Jimenez has in earnings. Jimenez is not a crusher. I didn't know at first, but Nick pulls up his Hendon Mob. He has like 400k on Hendon Mob.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure if he's a crusher or not. So a crusher might come up with like fancy lines, but somebody like Jimenez, I don't think he can get that creative. But let's see what happens.
Maybe.
Yeah. He's trying to figure out, is he doing it with hands that he has beat, like pocket threes? Does he do it with king queen? Probably not, to be honest. Not three betting on the flop, I don't think.
So bottom of value.
Like king queen is too thin there to go for value. Pocket threes might go for thin value, and the bluffs are just like we said. I can't think of any.
Range is kings because queens aren't there and we have jacks. Or do you think set of threes is still involved?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. And then, but what are the bluffs? Could it be ace queen maybe that he decided to 3-bet?
That's the one that
flop
immediately comes
with
to
that
mind
ace.
because obviously ace 10 is value. So
Say that again.
Yeah, like I was just agreeing with the commentator.
Ace queen with the ace of heart.
Like
makes
ace
sense.
queen with the ace of hearts, ace jack with the ace of hearts.
Yeah, and it's blocking the straight and the flush.
You have
Not
like
like-
ace
yeah.
9 that you decide to click on the flop with the ace of hearts, like ace
ace 9 is
4
like
with
too ambitious.
that stuff's getting ambitious.
Ace 10 with the ace of heart is a like creative line, but
no.
at least you have some playability later on. You hit a queen, you have the straight.
Right.
Runner hearts, you have the ace of heart. That hand makes sense. Ace 10 with the ace of heart.
the ace combo would be ace queen. Hang on, what's
I
next?
might not even know because they might not show it.
That's a tough one.
Are you calling, Corey?
Very difficult. I'm not sure, honestly.
I'm with him.
I mean, the only silver lining is Palma covers
You
mightily.
have kings or the nuts. I mean, this is crazy.
It really is.
Does
Wow, he bins it. What was?
Fucking ace 5 of clubs. What?
That makes no sense.
Like he just took a hand with no equity whatsoever and just took it to the streets. This is a play. This is something we used to see back in like 07, 08.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Palma's a great player, but this is all he put himself here.
What I mean, I never expected that hand. Like that hand that makes no sense whatsoever. In the solver land, I don't know if that hand will ever be a candidate to take that line ever. This is like
No,
complete straight.
it's definitely not. It's horrible. I mean, it's literally no, it's bad.
It's
But
bad.
but yeah, like I mean, I don't love how Palma played the hand either, personally. Like, no offense, he has a lot more earnings than me, especially in the live world. But he put himself there. Like there's 3 bets for this stuff. Button now 4 bets ace 5.
You know what makes you know what made
like,
him spaz?
this
You know what?
game tree doesn't exist to me.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. He took a note that does. It's not even there. You know what made him spaz? The fact that he shouldn't have check raises on the king high board, and that's why he took that line. Like, fuck you, you don't have it. I'm gonna click it back because I have the range advantage, and then he just went with it.
And to be quite honest, that's kind of what I was saying from the start of this hand, was because big blind, I have complete nut. I could get out of line. Like, this is exactly a spot that I could get way out of line just because I know I have nut advantage. But that also hurts me because my opponent doesn't know that I have nut advantage or even know what it means. You know what I mean? Like, so they're just like, oh, Don's out of line, which, yep, you hit the nail on the head this time. But I also have king and jacks and ace 10 of hearts and ace X of hearts and, all these hands that are value that you just hunted to me too. So.
Okay, I got some rapid fire questions here to wrap things up. Coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee. Coffee's more consistent. I don't do a lot of energy drinks. Every once in a while, I'll do a Celsius at Derby.
Yeah, I do Celsius.
Coffee's morning. I'll do usually 1 cup. And that's about it.
You ever do coffee while you're playing?
No, because I enjoy a cigarette with my coffee.
You know what? As bad as cigarettes are for you, nicotine is great for the mind. It has a lot of good cognitive benefits, by the way.
Yeah, there's probably better ways to get nicotine if you really wanted to take it like that rather than smoking. But
yeah, I'm not advocating.
Yeah, there is science behind a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely nicotine is beneficial, but definitely smoking is horrible for you.
Yeah.
That's nothing new here. All in blind or fold every hand for an hour? I've never seen you fold every hand for an hour.
Yeah.
Is that a thing in Don's world?
It happens. There are times where I'm like, but usually it's not an hour. I'm gonna find a spot that I can think that I can squeak an edge out of. Open like queen 3 suited or middle position, something a little out of line. Stuff like I'll find some stuff, or I'll 3-bet a little wider, like But yeah, all in or fold for an hour.
I've never seen you fold for an hour.
Yeah, I mean,
not a thing.
I guess we're all in dark, right?
Let's send it. Worst thing to hear at a poker table?
I'm guilty of it sometimes, but it's cringe. Talking strategy. It's a little different in the league. But yeah, talking strategy at the table.
You know what? They were doing it at Hard Rock last time. We were playing the tournament, and every hand they were asking me, "Oh, what should I've done here? What should I?" I'm like, and I said
like imagine like in the middle of a fourth quarter of like a Super Bowl game, and like the coach like goes over and like says, "Yeah, so what are you doing in this spot? Like, this is what I did on 4th down. It didn't work, like what do you think I should like?" It's so, and what it is ego, right? Like it's ego.
I don't think it's malicious on their side, but
it isn't.
They think I'm a millionaire and I'm sitting there like having fun, and I should coach them for them to exploit me.
Right, and some people, it is very not malicious, and they're trying. Some people are just trying to relate as well. Like they want to say, "Hey, like I study too," and I see those type of people, and it's no hate or nothing, but I don't really want to talk strategy at the table. Even like this podcast, I'm like, oh, I've been sharing a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit too much.
Yeah, a little bit.
I might have to think about what I've said on here and adjust a little.
I was watching a Jonathan Jaffe podcast, the GTO Lab, and he said it. He said people will try to exploit you, and you don't know where it's coming from. They've heard something you do, or a certain spot, and they'll try to use it against you, and you don't know how or when they heard that, whatever thing it is. If you say like you don't defend the blind that often, or you don't like that spot or this spot, they try to use it against you. Yeah.
That was my fear with streaming, because and I'm probably going to get back into it a little bit, maybe like once a week, to promote a great app I'm playing on and my coaching. So it's all going to kind of fall in together, and eventually my book. But that was my worry about streaming, is like, especially online, like these crushers, they want every edge. So they're going to sit there, and they're not there to support me. They're there to exploit me.
Exploit you later.
Like they're not commenting. You see, you have these viewers and only 2 people are actually commenting, and you're just like, I see you. I know who's on the other side there. They have bad intentions.
That's the thing with poker streams and stuff, like what we watch with Palma. Seeing the cards, you're seeing how people are playing. What's his name? Eric Seidel used to do it on purpose and not show his cards. He did it one time on a live stream at a final table. He would do it on purpose, not put his cards at a reader. And they had a talk with him, like, that's not fair. Everybody's showing their cards, and you're not putting your cards on the reader. Yeah, that's that's what made poker popular. It's the live streams.
Yeah, I think like a good strategy, a good overall baseline strategy will like prevent you from being too exploited though, but like exploitable. But so that helps. But still, like, I have little stuff.
You know what? Shout out to Jen. She always tells me that. She said you play too much in Tampa and people know what you're up to. The thing is, in reality, some players, you can tell them what your strategy is and they still won't adjust.
Right.
They're still so involved in what they're doing. They're not worried about what you're doing and how to counterattack it. So I can tell them what my strategy is and still beat them.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're studied a little bit against the average player that never looked at a chart, yeah, they can use like field play so much, but you're gonna have an edge over a period of time. Like, you're gonna crush them over the long run. They're not gonna have an edge over you. Even if, like I said, I would tell them like, hey, this is a spot I'm gonna check raise, and I would do it. You can still beat them. You can tell them exactly what you're doing, and you can still beat them, if that makes sense.
For sure.
One thing that instantly tilts you.
Instantly, I feel like I'm pretty good at, even sometimes I might get a little tilted, but I feel like I'm at a point where it doesn't affect my strategy too much, to where
I don't
it's
think
like
I've ever seen
super
it tilted in the
detrimental.
league.
Yeah, and I'm very good if I do to reset, because I've worked a lot with like mental coaches. I have little things, little practices I do and whatnot, but yeah, I don't really get like too tilted live. Mostly it will be like unethical things, or like, because like I'm a big thing on like principle and morality and like loyalty and things like that. And like when I see people like disrespecting people or disrespecting a dealer, like I'm usually the guy that's like trying to stick up for the dealer, or because it's just like unnecessary and unprofessional, and it's not fun. That's the stuff that tilts me more.
Talking about ethical, I forgot the comments from the chat. We're gonna go on Facebook, and one of them was in Derby, late in the tournament. It was like one of their big guarantees. We come back from break, and you have 100K stack extra in your stack, and you right away say it. You're like, oh. Usually players will make note of their stack being less, like if they did the color up and they have less chips. You said it because you had 100K extra. The dealer and the color up, they had that stack in their hand to color up the yellows, and they put a stack of greens and they left it by your, and you said it right away. And people comment, they were, that's respectful. That's the honorable thing to say. Mercer was giving you shit about it on Facebook. We'll read the question in a minute. But so If poker players had a walkout songs, what's yours? You know, like in the WWE when they walk out, they have that
Song
song.
would be like some like hard like street hip hop like that gets me like feeling myself like
Anything comes to mind? Any song?
um I don't know, like there's this artist who passed in August who I worked with on my producer album. His name is Sean Price. Some hip hop heads might like know him and stuff because he was big, Boot Camp Click and whatnot. He's got a song called Pyrex, and it's just like the way it hits, it gets you like locked in, feeling yourself confident, which I think is all important in poker, like confidence at the table. And usually I'm listening to like some like street or like gangster rap, like, you know, like one time in Miami, I was at the Six Max final table and they were playing like Dr. Dre, like dun, 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 like that song. And I was just, dude, I was just like, let's fucking go. Like I'm locked in. Like I'm feeling it, you know? So yeah, it would be like, yeah, that song by Sean Price, Pyrex.
Jen said Palma needed to put out a bet on the river, period, figure out where they are now. We never bet to see where we are now. It's not about that. It's either value or bluff. We're not putting information bets. That's like so 2008. He could have put a block bet, and if he got raised, he could fold. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
block
like
bet's
it.
like kind of a thing these days, and I really
Yeah.
like to use block bets, and I'll do it
Yeah.
with nuts if I think they're capable of seeing my block bet as capped.
Yeah.
I will attack the shit out of block bets. I love doing that.
If you're doing it balanced, it's hard to attack it because if you're doing it with the nuts and you know
Most
like
people aren't.
middling hands. So in that spot, if you bet like 10% pot,
Most people just want to get the showdown with
pot was like
someone.
60K. If you bet like 6 or 7K, 8K, yeah, I like
I
it.
guarantee, and I don't know nothing, but if he was taking ace five of clubs there and clicking back on flop, he wasn't going to see a block bet. He was going to pile over that block bet, and it would still be the same result. Nick would have folded river, in my
You'll
opinion.
be surprised. Sometimes people don't have the guts to pull the trigger on the river. If Nick, the block bet is so hard to combat in that spot. When you block bet that spot, because Nick Palma can have really strong hands on that board. Like
Yes,
flushes
he
are not
can.
folding, straights are maybe cry calling. So a block bet would be very hard to combat in that spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, we know the hands. It's easy for us to sit here and talk in real time. You know, you're making decisions. You know, Nick didn't even think much on the river. He just like double tap. You know, he took 5 seconds and checked because he didn't want to face aggression. The card, it was a scare card on the turn, and he got clicked back, so it was scary spot. Yeah, if he blocked bet, I think his opponent would have folded. But
Yeah,
then again,
I think because I think in general, like it's kind of like taking the hard spot, right? Like block betting with absolute value is beyond people because they want to get value when they have value. They're not thinking about the times that someone actually turns a hand into a bluff because you block bet and how that gets you the value that you wouldn't have got originally. So like people are too scared to check like a strong hand out of position or block bet a really strong hand out of position on a river because it is painful when they just snap call you with middle pair and you have to show down this strong hand and everyone's like, or even worse, he has a hand that might have called the jam on the river. You know what I mean?
you only
I
see
think people
like
don't balance it at all in population. The block bet.
somebody like Devoris would do it, Mikita Bajakowski would do it, Foxen would do it. Those guys,
Boris?
yeah,
He's a new coach on
GTO Lab. Yeah, he's very good. These guys are capable of
I
block
played with
betting.
him in the 3K. He's a fucking sicko. And another one I played with in the 3K that's an absolute sicko is not for his name. Doesn't matter. But go ahead.
Moving on. What's more painful, a bad beat or misplaying a hand?
Oh, misplaying a hand 1000%. Bad beats are out of your control, man. It happens. You feel like you're cursed at times. Why is this happening? That's not the right way to look at it. It's out of your control. Move on. Play
Well said.
the best poker you can on your next hand. Otherwise, these mistakes are going to compile and it's just going to hurt worse, you know? So, and that's in life too. Try to only worry about things that are in your control.
Well said. One word for your poker style.
I'll use a word that someone I really respect their game said to me at WSOP, and it wasn't. It was like relentless. I was just getting after it that day. There was a hand I 3-bet 7-5 of clubs, and it ran out of 4-liner, and I knew the guy had ace king, ace queen, and I put a big size bet on a 4-liner with fourth pair, and got a snap by ace king, and it was the most bizarre hand. And this guy just looked at me and said, "You are absolutely relentless." It wasn't the word, but it's along those lines. It's like a synonym of relentless.
Good one. Let's go to the comments from the chat. Merso said, shout out to Merso. He said, my question to him is, why is he still playing when he's such a bad player?
Yeah, you know, I guess I just love the game too much, Merso.
and you say, we can talk about how I could make an easy living if Merso would just play me heads up every week for his paycheck. Oh my God.
You know, that was a funny joke, but also serious. Like, you know, I have a lot of, there was actually, and this is ego for sure, but there was a point in my career that I was on the global poker. I used to play on there, and I was like a super reg, and I played like everything. And I was in the forums calling out the entire site, challenging people to heads up matches. And, you know, we would do heads up matches for side bets. And so I really love heads up. And like anyone wants to play me heads up, like we can talk about it because I love it and it's fun and it's competitive.
So Merso, you've been summoned for a heads up match at Derby.
Don't play heads up, Merso. Let's go.
Actually, not at Derby. He can't play because he's a dealer there, but maybe TGT. So, okay, we'll set up a date later. David Savage, I think he came to your defense, not knowing that Merso is joking. He said, Merso looks like a failed used car salesman. Damn.
Yeah, that was probably, he didn't understand Merso's intent, which happens a lot online.
Yeah. Jennifer Frankenstein's comment, she said, Get It Girl is perfect song for Dawn. Get It Girl.
I know that song.
What is which song?
It makes me think of Cameron. If I don't think that's what you're referring to. But
I think she's trolling.
There's a song that's like "Get It Girl."
Robert Andrews, what's up, Robert? He's in the chat. He said, "How do you deal with the bad vibe at the table?" Bad vibe. What do you mean? Like a bunch of?
I try to attack a bad vibe with good vibes, right?
Like the yin yang. Balance it out.
Sometimes people are very like. There's a player in Tampa that is known for being angry, and I won't say it. I won't say who it is.
MTT, right?
Yes, and he's always upset. He's deep in tournaments, and he's just so upset, and he's huffing and puffing. And at WSOP, we were deep in something. I'm like, dude, I was like, we just sat down. You're 4 hands in. You have piles, dude. What could you possibly be huffing and puffing about? And and he laughed. Like he had bad energy, and I attacked it with like good, like how I do.
I'm curious who that
good
is.
energy, and now we're friends. You know what I mean? Now he always says what's up, and
Are you talking about
tell him
Stu
cheer up.
Is that Stu?
No, it's not Stu.
Who's huffing and puffing?
No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to.
Huffing and puffing.
There's probably a few of them, but
okay,
there's someone I have in mind.
Mystery man that huffs and puffs in tournaments. Merso said, never failed as a car salesman. Aaron, my question to Don is, how are you this big of a bozo after all these years? Fair
Coming
question.
from a bozo himself is funny.
Are we referring to Bozo the Clown?
It's just like a little. We talk shit to each other. A lot of a lot of people care about. We talk. That kind of comes from like.
I know.
We
He's
always
trolling.
talk shit. Yeah,
He's also trolling. Yeah.
He's a fucking boss.
Ben Myers, shout out to Ben. He said, I thought it was MAMS. MAMMS.
That was funny. Yeah, Derby they didn't even misspell it, but they wrote it so fast. I didn't write on my bag. Like one of the TDs came over and started filling it out for me because I was just being me and bullshitting.
Right.
And they started like helping me out because they wanted to leave. And he put like the NN in my name, like never picked up the pen, and it looked like an F.
It's an inside joke. Inside joke.
Yeah, so thanks for that, bud.
Joshua Nicholson says, let's go, Don.
Let's go, Josh. Win three trophies this series.
Crushing TGT. He's like the MVP over there.
He is.
I put a meme saying, you are next. You know Bolo from...
Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, he would be a cool one to get on.
Yeah,
he's a really cool guy.
Hassan Hakim says, ask him why does he not have respect for me? He's going to know what I'm talking about. LOL. Why do you not have respect for Hassan?
That turned out, I guess, to be a joke. Sometimes that shit goes over my head. But there's a hand where Hassan, it was in like the 1100 or the 700 or something at Rock. And he opened under the gun, and I flopped a set. And it was like club flop, and he checked back flop, and we had got to river, and I went for value, and he had ripped. And I was so upset that hand with myself because I knew that he's one of the few players that are capable of having the nut club check back on this flop in position. He's protecting his checking range, essentially, is what I knew. And it's a cooler. Like at the end of the day, it's a cooler. Like
what did you have? You had a flush and he had the nut flush?
No, I flopped a set and he had checked on a mono flop all club, I think it was. He might have turned the club and checked back. Okay. And just the way the hand had played out, most people would not have the nut flush in this situation because a lot of people don't protect their check back range. But I knew he was, so I was upset with myself that, like, I knew he was capable of having it, and it made my hand like more of a fold in the spot. But yeah, we had talked, and
Do you think he studied and no shots? Not trying to fire shots at Hassan, but I feel like he's more of a feel.
I think he is too, but he's also gonna. I haven't played a ton with him, but based on like what I have, he understands like balance though. Like he knows that he can't just be bluffing all the time here. Like he knows that when he checks back a flop, he can't only have middle pair that's scared to see bet, because he plays in good fields. So you have to be somewhat cognizant of this stuff.
I mean, the kid is definitely doing something right because his score is like,
he knows what he's doing.
He's fearless too.
Yeah, so maybe he doesn't base his game off of being studied, but I would bet money that he has a background in it to some capacity and respects it to some capacity.
Yeah, he has presence at the table too.
Yes.
Yeah, we might get him on.
That would be a cool one. I'd love to actually know more about him.
Yeah, I want to know more about him too. I mean, we're friends, but I don't talk with him about if he studies or doesn't study or strategy. Jack Feeney, Doc, says, great guy and an amazing player. Shout out to Jack. He's been working on his game too.
I love Jack. Jack's good people.
He is good people.
Yeah.
He's been improving too.
Yeah, definitely. He's been putting in the work. See him getting deep in events.
Fabian Foster, the Black Mamba. He said, waiting for Jimmy Farnsworth to be on Carl Mann. Shout out to the GOAT, Jimmy. I said, it'll have to be a special occasion.
That was funny. I laughed.
Hassan said, the bad players in Tampa retired Jimmy from ever playing again. So instead of poker, he now teaches lessons on how to play craps. Yeah, he has a channel on, and he's actually like, he's making money. He shows me numbers. He's making money because there's not a lot of people in that field creating content.
Hey, good for him, man.
Yeah.
It's good. I've been exploring, side avenues of income too.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have in this poker world.
Yeah. Matt Spina said, what are your thoughts? Shout out to Matt. What are your thoughts on players who limp / 3-bet aces pre-flop under the gun in a tournament? The good old limp under the gun, somebody.
Yeah, I think we covered this pretty good, but it's just they're not balanced, right? And it's just you want to deny equity in tournaments. In most of these situations, there's just absolutely, in my opinion, that's the beauty of this game is everyone plays different and gets the results how they want, and that's cool too. But I just can't find the logic behind just not value betting.
You're never gonna see that play in a valuable or any event that has any a Triton stop. You're never gonna see Phil Ivey or Alex Foxen limping under the gun with aces, and then somebody opens and they make it 10x. What hand?
PKOs is an exception, and that's for another day. PKOs and mystery bounties, I will have limps there, but I'm also when I cover a table, I'm limping I'm doing stuff that these people that are limping in these Tampa fields are not doing. I'm limping 100% of hands, balancing my limp raises, doing
the whole thing.
But the mystery, that's a whole different, the PKO, you're trying to induce people to isolate a short stack bounty. Yes, you can limp aces. This short stack jams. This dude isolates fucking king 9 suited, and you're just ooh, yeah, I get fucking piles of chips.
It's a very simple concept, and amateurs don't get. Is all about being unpredictable pre-flop, and that's why we raise 2x to 2.5x with aces, or 5-6 suited, or maybe 8-3 off. The whole thing is about being unpredictable. If you're gonna start limping your middling hands, Jack 9 off, Jack 10 off, King Jack, Ace 3 off, and then opening 5-6x the value hands, Ace King, Ace Queen, Pocket Jacks plus. You're narrowing down you're so predictable post flop.
Yeah.
So I know
you're just making it so profitable for good players like me to attack these limps when I know what you're doing, and then I could just fold every time you limp re-raise because it's ace king and aces and kings.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Every other time they limp call, and I just know they have queen 9 suited, and I could just barrel them off on so many boards.
Very highly exploitable, and the whole thing is figuring out that day at that table what's the sizing to kind of narrow down the field, because some tables you make it 6x and they all come along, and now you're playing a bloated pot 6 ways, or you make it 8x and you get 1 or 2 players. It depends on the day and the mood.
I think it's a little more relevant in cash. It is relevant in tournaments, but definitely in cash when you're playing deep stacks, and it's very in your interest to stay away from narrow these hands down to heads up or 3 ways to a flop when you're this deep, because there's a lot of scenarios that you don't want to be in when you're trying to range these players and you don't know what the hell they got. So it kind of rings true in tournaments too, but everything's a little more shallow.
Yeah. I see some players
cool 6x pre-flop sizings. At least in my opinion, you shouldn't.
Some players here locally, they just limp every hand. It doesn't matter position. They're not positionally aware at all. Limp under the gun +1. It doesn't matter. They just want to see flops, and they're seeing 9 flops out of 10. They're just going post flop and just winging it. It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
So Steve Boomhauer says, isn't he the one that got the extra 100K on break at Derby? What a cheater. Of course he's trolling because you said it right away. This is the spot where you got the extra 100K and you said it right away. And then he says, obviously joking, just remembered that though he was honorable. He was honorable about it. Yes, you were.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, I put enough work into my game, and even if I didn't, I would never want to cheat people or do anything in any way to gain an unfair edge. Like, I think that's the integrity of this game is very important. I take it very seriously. And like I've had it online where like people are like inducing action and I'm like, look, stop. Like you cannot do this. Like I give a shit about the integrity. I give a shit about the other players at the table. Like I don't want to do that. I put enough work in that I can fairly play this game. Like angling and shit. That shit
I don't get it.
drives me nuts.
Like you said,
Like,
this game
it
you
just
don't
shows
need.
the type of person you are when you do that type of stuff.
You don't need to do all the extra stuff, the angling.
No.
Last time I cashed, because it happened to me before, the guy when he bluffed river and it was showdown, and he went like this. He's like, "You're good, you're good." Just because it doesn't happen much in tournaments like in Tampa, but just because it happened to me before in cash, where the guy would be like, you're good," and then they show top pair, I made him show. But I was gonna tell him like because I would never let a amateur show their hand. When they say you're good, I show my hand right away, even if it's ace high.
Right.
But I've had it done before where the guy angle, Spanish guy at the table, he went like, "You're good, you're good." So I showed my ace high. He shows top pair. He had like king X on a king high board. I'm like, well, you said I'm good. When you say you're good, that means my ace high is good.
Yeah,
Not-
that means
not-
you
not-
found a bluff, like a complete bluff.
He
and
has
it's not
air.
win.
He can't even beat ace high. That means anything, any showdown of mine is good. The guy shows me top pair. So yeah, angling, you don't need any of this cheating or I'm like poker. You don't need all this to win.
No. And like, I want to be able to like sleep at night, like this shit, if you're a decent human, this shit would weigh on your conscience. Like I trying to have inner peace and be a good person. I don't know how these people like live with themselves, like the fucking Murray Hawkins of the world.
Last comment we got from Jen. Love Don. What a great guy and always great at the table. Well said, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. You're always so fun to play with. We have blast.
Yeah, she's always dialed in lately. We got the C11335 Carl Mann podcast, the sickest podcast in poker. Who is the C? Thank you, my man. That's nice. Very nice of you.
Sure.
I don't know who that is.
Getting big praise, Carl.
Yeah, damn. Don, thank you for coming on. It's been fun.
I had a blast. I can't believe it's been this long.
I know.
I could talk about poker forever, and
you know what? We have a list of questions that we didn't even touch, but we're at the 2 hour 20 mark. Are you playing TGT tonight, or you're waiting for the weekend?
Not tonight. Probably the weekend. A lot of things up in the air. I do want to just shout out, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm,
I never got to really touch it. I am on a club now, on Club GG, and it's awesome. And I don't really want to sell it. Just if you're interested in like good games and like a bad beat jackpot, like hit me up, call me. If you want to talk on the phone, if you want to see it, like I'm transparent, you know what I mean? Hit me up if you're looking for a place to play games. And also, I'm gonna try to start pushing a little more coaching in the coming year, and hopefully release my website and maybe a book. So yeah.
Nice. There you go. Coaching, they can reach you on Facebook or all the socials.
Yeah, Instagram, Stay Focused Poker, or Donald Manns on Facebook. Yeah, those are the two best places to reach me. I'm usually pretty active.
There you go, guys. You got a coach here. You're gonna be coaching mainly tournament poker or cash or
mainly tournaments. I have cash background. I know how to get you set up and get you winning, but that's not something I'm pushing. I'm an MTT specialist. That's what I'm confident in teaching.
Mm-hmm.
It of course it depends. Even still in MTTs, like someone reaches out to me. This has happened. Reached out to me for coaching, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to help you enough. You're already established. or
Since we're making plugs here, I'm thinking about putting together a masterclass, a tournament masterclass. And I will talk about a release time, but yeah, I'm gonna start recording. But Don, yeah, a little masterclass for a beginner. It'll be there'll be a ton of information. It'll be a mix of theory and live tells and all the stuff we do in the live scene that could help somebody like coming up
definitely.
tremendously. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of people at a lot of different levels in this game, and I've always kind of shied away at pushing it because of confidence issues. But I know there's a lot of people I could help, and I do right now, like currently, and
of
so
course.
I'm gonna start doing it a little
And
more.
I'm gonna try to make mine like a mix of, some courses are too nerdy, too much into theory and chart.
Yeah, no,
A
yeah,
mix of both would be nice. A mix of I'm gonna have, it's gonna be balanced between the nerdy math stuff and charts
you have
and
to offer something different these days too, and like not everything's about the charts. Like you can't just go look at charts and be good
it's
at
always
poker.
good to have a good solid
Yes,
back.
you need the
You
foundation.
always build on that. The people that don't have the foundation, that never put time studying like the basic stuff, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how many people sitting at the table in an MTT, if you ask the simple questions about like calculating pot odds or equities, the simple stuff, they don't know them. They've just been playing poker forever and they don't know better, and they think luck was going to reward them down the road. They don't know that there's
Right.
so much that they're missing, so much information.
Yeah, it's exciting when you start learning it.
Of course, learning
It really
first.
is. Like when you learn new stuff and then apply it and you see the results, and then all of a sudden you have more chips later in tournaments, and then all of a sudden you're making more final tables. Now you want to learn how to crush final tables. You start winning more turn. It's so fun. Like that process is so fun. Like to me at least.
Of course, you'll be prepared for all the spots. You'll know what to do in
Yeah,
certain spots without.
feels good to like know.
Like,
Or
like one thing I noticed, like last time we were at a final table, a guy that's been playing for a while and he has results. He's more of a field player. He doesn't study much, but like he would open two big blinds. Somebody would shove nine bigs. He would go in the tank for like 5 minutes. Me, before I open at a final table, I'm already planning. It's already put into motion. If somebody's shoving, and I know the stack, if somebody shoves nine bigs, I know exactly what to do. If somebody shoves 15 bigs, I know exactly what to do. If somebody shoves 20 bigs, I know what range of hands are going to be calls or folds or like close spots. But I'm not going to be deer in the headlight at a final table opening and somebody shove. Oh my God, what to do now? No, this is already put in play. There are light hands that can't call all ins, like the speculative hands. The premium hands are snap calls. Even like sevens, eights, somebody shoves nine bigs, we're calling. So I know exactly what range of hands are calling short stacks and which ones are not. And of course, I adjust at the table because I'm seeing when I see showdowns when people are shoving. If they're shoving like super tight, I'm gonna narrow down that calling range and open it up a little bit if they're getting out of line. But I know I'm not gonna go in the tank for 5 minutes when somebody shoves nine bigs. Like
Right.
he would
What
go
are they thinking about? They're just thinking about life and like
never
what are they? I'm so unlucky. How am I put in this spot? Like what is going through their head?
And I was
These people that
surprised
tank for so
watching
long.
it. I was watching it like, how do you not put a plan if somebody shoves short and you open it? This should be in the back of your mind because this is final table. There were like 4 players under 15 bigs, like between 18 to 9 bigs. And they were all to his left, to our left. So that's pretty simple stuff.
Right.
Anyway, Don, thank you so much for coming on, buddy.
I had a lot of fun. Thanks for
yeah,
everyone that stopped
yeah.
by and said what's up. And
Of course, thank you for the chat, for listening in.
appreciate you having me on, Carl.
Yeah, for
It was
sure.
a fun
You can
time,
come
man.
on.
Yeah, it was so easy. It was just like conversation.
Was
I
it-
had my little normal anxieties. I'm like, fuck podcast.
In the beginning, you're nervous, but we were talking about something you love, so it's easy.
Yeah, it's too easy.
The thoughts come in easy.
That's why I want to push the coaching too, because honestly, when I do have a student and I supply them with great value, it fills me, man. That shit makes me feel so
I'm
good.
sure you can take somebody that's like losing break even to a winning player. Plus, don't forget the upswing. Everybody that comes in this podcast, it's they go on a sick upswing. So we're gonna see you crush.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, we'll have that talk in a few months.
Alrighty. Well, Carl,
See
have
you
a
at
good
the
one,
tables.
man. Thank you.
Thank you.